Had to do it. Got low cuts. Hey, it's off camera. You can't be coaching me on stuff off camera.
Welcome everyone to the PGL HCS Open Circuit T-Squared and the legendary Walshy. Thank you guys for joining us today. Dave, how you feeling?
Dude, feeling real good. Got into Vegas yesterday. I don't know the last time I've been out here. It's been a couple years, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun last night. PGL took us out. We played some golf late night, sang some karaoke, and talked a lot about Halo. So, we're here to watch these guys make their way throughout. It's going to be a long process. It's going to be a couple weeks for these guys. And a lot of the players that were, competing today have been competing, a lot of their Halo lives to make it into the pro leagues. And we've seen, a lot of teams get close, but nobody really break it into there.
Yeah, I think it's rare in Halo to ever just like come onto the scene within 1 year and be like make to the top. Like people have been playing Halo for years and years. You and I have been playing Halo for 15 years at this point. That's mind blowing to think about.
It's half of our lives. It's pretty insane. So let's take a look at the teams that are gonna be playing today, and it's kind of no surprise really. Elevate, check every corner. If you guys are not familiar with check every corner, I believe that's Hunter JJX and Blaze and those guys. And chat Shad Squad, and then the Elite Four. So it's gonna be pretty interesting today. Let's take a look at the rules and format as well, so we can get you guys up to speed on how everything is gonna be panning out. It's 4 matches. It's a semifinals. It's also single elimination. It's a best of 5. Then the top 8 earn spot to Legendary Cup. And seeing Elevate on there, Elevate and Denial were the two teams that made it into the relegations and went up against Optic and Liquid, and they fell just short.
Yeah, and I was actually semi-surprised about that because when I saw the open bracket series that they were doing before, I figured, some of those teams in the pro leagues, like once they start to falter, once they start to slip a little bit, is sometimes tough to stay on top. And so like when you have this whole pool of all these open players, I figured like the top of that, like the cream of the crop there was going to win the relegation, but that was not the case. So,
Yeah.
but that's the whole point is these players are coming out here. They're going to be gaming every weekend. Going to be getting all these HCS open circuit points, and eventually going to be vying for that relegation spot.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the bracket to see the matchups again that we're going to be having upcoming here. And hats off to these players because this isn't an easy thing to do. They had to fight their way yesterday to get the seeding to play today. And it's not an easy thing to do. Forming these teams to go up and play, it's constant team changes. It's a constant struggle to find your way. And these guys again are Elevate and everybody else. They're putting in serious work, just as much
Yes.
team, or maybe even more than the teams that are actually playing in the current HCS Pro League, because
I
they
would
need to
say
put in the
more.
extra work
Yeah,
to make it there.
they have some ground to catch up. They have to have everything go right for them to
Mhm.
make it come out here. So they're definitely giving it their all. One thing that we haven't also covered, which I really like coming back this year, is the free for all. I
Yeah.
mean, we're gonna see that in a couple open events like at Esports Arena and UGC. Like we're gonna actually see some free for all events and
Mhm.
see how these players, you're gonna see people come out of nowhere. I don't know
Yeah.
how. Actually, I do want to hear how you got first recognized. I know mostly through Xbox Connect. Like that
Yeah.
was through there first because it's interesting how each player kind of rose to the top, and we've seen that with all these top
You
pros.
you
Like
were free for all too.
I was a
You were a
free
free
for
for
all
all
kid
guy.
starting off.
I was a
Yeah,
free for all kid as well, actually. The thing about you is you were really good at 1v1s in Halo 1, and that wasn't something that I started to practice until
I
later
think
on.
very few people practice. I think me and Zyos, I think were the only people
Yeah.
that practice 1v1s.
There was only a handful of people, and when I started to finally practice in the 1v1s, I really started to saw it to pay off. But for me, I think the biggest moment was getting top 8 in Chicago 2004.
Okay.
That I was the only person besides I think it was Clockwork on the top 2 teams to make it in. So that was just a big step for me because you had Team Free for All, and then you also had the team that the Ogres were on. I think it was STK
STK
at
at
the
the
time.
time. Yep.
STK. So to go in there and get top 8 off host the entire time, it's pretty crazy because that's not an easy thing to do. On
No.
host in Halo 1, when you would go, it's probably in a free for all, probably about a 10 kill advantage to everyone that's playing on the host Xbox.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
nuts.
it was very difficult for me, but I made my way, through 4v4, through free for all. But there's no better way to do it than proving yourself through these open areas. And another thing is, you don't have the highest level of competition because the other top 8 teams that are in the pro league, you're not going to be going up, say, like against Optic Gaming. So every opportunity, every game that you play, it's going to be very close because everyone's so evenly matched.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's also great about this open circuit is players, they can't really blame it on bracket or something along those lines. Yes, you
Right.
might play some better teams early on, but same point, these are all the teams that you're gonna have to beat to get to relegation,
Hmm.
to get to that pro side. So you're never gonna like match up early on against like, oh well, we played CLG or EG and we lost to these top pro teams. Like, nope, you got to beat all these other squads and you can be potentially in the pro circuit.
Well, interestingly enough, you have people actually complaining about their brackets because it was random seeding to start
Mhm.
off. So yesterday, everyone was on one side of the bracket, and it was a really stacked side of the bracket. You saw some teams losing in the second or third
Yeah.
round that could have potentially been in that legendary area. So after today, we're going to see a lot.
Things will start to settle. And people will be closer to where they should
That's
be.
how it always is
Yeah.
in these type of online tournaments. Because again, it's very random. It is random seeding to start, but everyone played yesterday to go and get their seed today, and you're seeing teams like Elevate secure themselves a really good position by winning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these guys that are playing, I think Elevate, they just went up against Anarchy's team, so it's interesting to see Anarchy still playing. There's a lot of up and coming players mixed with old pros, which is pretty interesting, and that's really the first game that we've ever seen that kind of mesh.
And that's one of the best opportunities I would say for up and coming players like someone team like Anarchy. Anarchy's played since Halo 2,
Right.
like 2006 he was playing in tournaments,
Mhm.
2005 maybe
Yeah,
even.
2005.
And you gain a lot of knowledge over those years playing through events. Maybe I know towards the end, when I was competing, my shot wasn't as good as it was when I was,
Mhm.
early in the scene. However, my knowledge of the game was much higher.
Yeah,
And
and you
it's
can
able
have
to help your teammates. And
positioning
yep,
and stuff like that too. Yeah, it's interesting how that really pans off. But actually, talking about it, when it comes to casting, I don't know if there's ever been a casting duo to actually have more tournaments under their belt than the combination up here. I don't even know how many tournaments I've been to. I'd have to say over 100.
I cannot estimate. Yeah, I would say, geez, like
Do you
I've
remember your
won
first tournament? Mine was
my
50K too.
my very first one was AGP 2, and that
Not
was in like
APG, guys. AGP. There's a difference. There's a big difference. One you
Association of Gaming Professionals.
Yes, that's what it was. Not a
Now
pure
defunct
gangster.
league. um, that was like 2002, like late 2002,
Wow,
something like
yeah,
that. Early
2002,
2000.
2003. It's pretty crazy, but looks like we're gonna start getting into the game here. It's gonna be Elevate going up against CEC, which stands for Check Every Corner. So, not really sure of the exact lineup on Check Every Corner. I just know that I think Blaze and Hunter JJX are on that team. So again, those are players that have always floated around that top 16 area. Even Blaze has won a tournament in Halo Reach when he teamed with Ryanoob in 2010. They won a tournament. So definitely some experience coming in from this team. I thought Hunter JJX had put the controller or hung up the sticks, as they call it, but it looks like he came back. And again, that's all these guys that are playing today. They haven't given up. They're extremely resilient, and that takes a lot of time and energy to do. So, just hats off to everyone that's still playing and competing and trying to make it into the pro league because it's great to see so many people show up. We had over 100 teams, Dave.
That's a grind of a weekend, man.
It
Trying to go
is.
through all those squads. I remember having to do that sort of stuff through my open events that I would compete in.
Mm.
So, like when we were talking earlier about the open events, like my team got knocked out first or second round or whatever, but I ended up placing well in the free for all, and that's one way I got noticed, and also through the 4v4s.
Yeah, and when's the last time that we saw Randa play? I mean, Randa he was going to sub in the pro league, and I want to just touch base on how I think that he's one of the players that has to make it into the pro league eventually. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
the guy he's
he's kind of like
so
that MCC story where he was kind of, I want to say, the breakout player there because he right off the beginning of the game, like he made his way into top teams.
yeah.
That Winter Fox squad was so scary and so aggressive when they were together.
This is a scary Elevate team.
Yeah.
It is. They're definitely, in my opinion, more improved than the Elevate team because they had the addition of Aries carries as well. I think that these two guys, the way that they play, the way that they communicate, also, there, if you guys remember, Randa also was teaming with Hysteria, and I don't know if you guys remember the time that Hysteria was just like verbally just lashing out at Randa on Eden. So I think that the group of guys that they have now are going to be a well-rounded type of group in the play styles and also how they mesh with each other. But I think that Rand is someone that's long overdue to make it into the pro league. Every time I watch his stream or anything like that, I'm always just impressed how he's never necessarily carrying, but he's never making any detrimental decisions. It's always pretty solid decision making coming from him. May not be the best shot in the world, but like you said, he has that
Yeah,
experience.
he has a great shot, and I think what you hit the nail on the head was he's not making many mistakes. That's
Mhm.
one thing is everyone looks and notices those flashy plays, like, oh my
Right.
God, you see that double no scope, that
Yeah. The
to get that double kill. And
multi-kills.
it's like, sure, yeah, that is a great game changing moment, and that's something that should be highlighted. And we
Right.
should check out those replays. However, what you never see is the 20 times before that where someone didn't make a mistake and put themselves in a position where
Yeah.
they had to hit a no scope or where they had to hit some ridiculous shot to stay alive.
Yeah, or the guy that goes in and grabs the flag and dies but gets it halfway or type,
Yeah,
that
that
type of
doesn't
stuff.
show up on the
It
scoreboard.
doesn't, and
It's not a
that's
flashy play. Like,
yeah, and that's the
it,
type of stuff that I think that Aries, brings to the table, that Randa brings to the table. And when you have multiple players like that are willing to, that can do everything, a lot of players, even in the pro league, they have a weakness, whether that's the objective or their communication or anything like that. But when I look at this Elevate squad, I think that they have a really well-rounded unit, mainly because of those two guys.
yeah, and I think one thing I remember specifically from Aries when he was playing on the Optic squad was Assault would always tell him like play selfish, and like
Mhm.
that's a good thing you have to tell a teammate sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
hey, be a bit more selfish. Like, stay alive
yeah,
sometimes, get some
exactly.
kills. You don't always have to do everything. Be a bit more selfish. You don't have to keep being so selfless and give your life for the objective. What happens to be at some points, the right play to do is just get some
Stay
slays, stay
alive.
alive,
Yeah.
worry about yourself, because not every single time can you save your teammate. Not every single time are you going to cap that flag.
Yeah, and it looks like this game is just about to start. I'm going to go in and spectate and see if they're maybe doing a warm-up game or if the game's actually started, because I was tuning into a stream
Yeah,
and they were
sometimes
going
you don't
hard
know if
on
they're doing like
the
the
flag
flag
warm-up.
game, the 2v2 flag warm up.
We're not a big fan. We're not a big fan of the whole flag, warm-up thing. I don't know. We feel like it just doesn't mimic actual in-game scenarios. So
Yeah, it's odd because
it's fun. Don't get me wrong.
it definitely is fun, but something similar to like Halo 3 Octagon, where is it really that much practice of true situations? Like, there's so many times where I was playing Halo 3 Octagon, it's like, I'm just spamming jump, I'm just spamming trigger as fast as I
Right.
can, rather than like actually taking my time and trying to go for a shot and actually hit something that's relevant. And so that's why I always, one thing I would always do when I warmed up would play, like midship free for all or heretic free for all on Halo 3. And towards the end, what I would try to do is I would try to play like I would in a real game situation. And
Right.
by that, I mean, I'm not going full free for all mode where I'm just going to like try to trade for
Mindless or
kills. Yeah,
just
mindless. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, all right, you know what I'm going to do?
or
I'm
just
going to
trying
make
for
every single
picks.
death, I'm going to make it as tough as possible kill me.
Ah.
The longer you can stay alive, the more opportunity time that you buy your teammates, it just all adds up in the end. It
Yeah,
gets you in this great
sounds
mindset.
like a
It's like
strong
great
side
positioning.
thing to do. Sounds like you guys have played a lot of those.
Just a few free for alls.
I wonder who picked up on that. Ola, Torty Walsh's, man. They ruined play styles. They made everyone stay alive longer. You guys heard it here. But also another match that we're going to be seeing Cloud's team. I believe that's Renegade, Straight Sick, Ryanoob, and Cloud. I could be wrong though.
We'll have to see how some of these lineups shaped up.
I don't know the
because over
team
last-
names. I don't know the team names right now because it's
Well, that's the thing is like
interesting.
we even have that going on in the pro league right now, where it's like, shoot, I don't even know the team names right now. Lethal's
Yeah.
on what Optic? Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh wait, they're French Toast Mafia. Oh wait, now they're Denial. Well, it's just like you can't even keep track anymore. And then that's when the orgs get involved. Is just like, oh, it's week 7 now. They're looking really good to get into the relegations. Maybe we should sponsor them. It's like, where were you guys the other 6 weeks? But yeah, anyway, so there's a lot of good teams here. It really could go anyway, and it's single elimination. It's not double elimination, and it's a best of 5. It's not a best of 7. So every game, every moment, every death, every decision that you make, it's very pivotal at this point.
Yeah, there's very, very little room for error here. You just have to get done, and there's also a little bit of money on the line for this weekend, right?
There is. I think there's a grand.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good when you're cleaning up as often as Denial was last time. I mean,
That
they
adds
were
up over
winning.
time, and it's also just nice where it's like, all right, guess what? You're one of these top AM
Mhm.
teams going up to try to get into relegation. You still get a little bit in your pocket.
You get rewarded online, and then you get rewarded on land as well. There's the Esports Arena, Santa Ana tournament. There's the PGL tournament here in Vegas in November. There's 30 grand up for grabs at that actual tournament. 25K for the 4v4, 5K
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
free for all.
what was that 3 different open events over the course of the next couple months? Like,
I mean,
like
that's
you
what
said,
we
the
were winning
Esports
for.
Arena.
That's what we were winning for the major events back in 2004 and 2005.
Yeah, that's I'd say more so like the 2005, 2006. Or yeah, right around that
Yeah.
area. Because I remember going to tournaments so many times. It was like first place was like $3,000 or $5,000, and I'm flying out to these places and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah, I was watching the MTV True Life stuff, and towards the end, it was just like T Squared walked away with like $500. I was just like, man, jeez.
But yeah, it's just crazy. Like it was funny because when we went out yesterday, went to Top Golf, hung out a little bit, just reminisced over the time. Just like, dude, like we've been to tournaments, know each other for like 15 years. Like it's crazy through all the different phases we've gone through. Whether it's competing, whether it's now casting or doing different gaming guides, and it's really cool to see where Halo has started and
Mhm.
taken us.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I think the best addition is to see 343 working directly with the pro players and seeing a lot of the pro players going over there and being a part of the 343 team, which really helps out the esports side of things, and they've also done a great job just taking in everyone's feedback as well, which has been pretty great. We've seen a lot of changes from the previous season now being implemented into this season for the fall, so they definitely done a good job with that.
Yeah, I actually had a call with Lunchbox over this weekend just to get a little brush up on some of the meta, some of the stuff that I haven't kept up with as much as I should have. Where I was like, all right, what's the new meta here on regret? With scatter being here, how do you guys play that? How do you do it with on running flag on stasis? And it was awesome just talking Halo strategy, because that's even one of the things when even when I'm not casting, even when I'm just watching the events, I'm still curious, like, what's going in these teams' heads? What are going through these players' heads when they're running a flag a certain route,
Hmm.
or when they're trying to block spawns over on stasis and whatnot?
Yeah, it's the meta for this game. It hasn't really changed much at all, which is pretty interesting. The game types, you introduce certain things, like you change where the overshield's placed or a weapon's placed, but it hasn't really changed the way that things have gone on. That's why we're seeing a lot of these teams like Branda's team, and again this Chattanooga squad that we're about to watch as soon as they get into the game. But they're all very comfortable, and we're all seeing what happens here when everyone starts team changing is everyone starts bringing their ideas from other teams together, and it's just like, hey, we should decide on playing this game. That's why it's important that either everyone has like an equal say, or you just have like one person that's actually shot calling and making the strategies.
It's almost like trade secrets from moving from company to company,
Yeah,
something like that.
pretty
It's
much.
like used to be on Elite Four, and guess what? I know exactly what they do off the start, or here's how
Yeah,
they're gonna
yeah.
run the flag every single time. And that was one thing I kept always bringing up, where you would it always almost happened thematically throughout the Halo seasons. It was when a team would drop a player, or when a player would move to another squad and they would match up against each other again. It seems like that individual a lot of times would get revenge, and
Hmm.
the reason being is because that one person has so much information on that entire team. Like,
Yeah.
when they pick up a fourth, they're not going to change drastically. They're
Hmm.
going to say, all right, we picked you up because we were lacking a little bit of objective or in slaying, or just wasn't working out with this fourth. And this one player has so much information. Like, all right, here's how they're going to always run the flag. Here's where so and so is going to be positioned at power position every single time, and it's an insane advantage.
What I'm interested to see is who's going to necessarily step up and be like that third or fourth team to compete with Elevate and then this Chattanooga squad or whatever their team name is, that Straight Sick and Renegade combination. But we did see Threes Up was a really solid team. They pretty much beat Elevate, and then there was a little bit of mishap with some lag going on, and there was some DDoS issues, and they actually had to forfeit. And they had beaten Elevate previously in the winners bracket, and then they were down 1-0 in a best of 7 and had to forfeit the entire match because they couldn't even get it going. So that was Prototype and Monster and those guys. So I know that they're going to be hungry as well. But they were that third team that was looking to possibly be the second or even number one team. They even took Denial to Game 7, and Denial was pretty close to eliminating Optic and making their way into the HCS fall season. So it's pretty crazy, the way that everything works out, and just small little things like your ISP dropping or something like that is just like life changing and detrimental.
It's absolutely crazy, and that's one thing actually. I do have a video on my YouTube channel. I should plug that right now, I guess.
Go for it.
YouTube.com/Walshy. I've had like maybe 5 or 10 videos on there. Nothing too much, but I do have a video on there how you can change your IP address after you've been like kicked offline, if happens to be something like that. That's one issue we never had to deal with when we were starting off. Like
Yeah,
Halo 2, I wouldn't be getting DDoS. There'd be people like stealing my Xbox Live gamer tag.
that
And
was the worst.
it
So
was
annoying.
it
T2 is
was
ripping. Rest in peace, man.
the Yeesh Law tag, man.
That was a good one
It
too.
was a great tag, and
That one got hacked?
yeah, I've lost like 4 or
Oh,
5 tags over the years. Like, it was a
jeez.
blessing and a curse at one point to get recon armor in Halo 3, because it was like,
Yeah.
sweet man, well, I'll enjoy this before my account gets stolen. Um,
I mean, that's $60 that they're stealing too. Those
it's pure
suckers.
theft.
It is
It was
theft.
pure theft, and it was like, it was violating. It's just like, it's like I
It
would
is.
go
It's
on.
like
It's like
someone
my
watching
credit
you go to
card
the
stolen.
bathroom or something. It's just like they're all up in your personal area, and give me privacy.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than like seeing, like, going down a credit card statement and seeing someone charge over $1,000 in Xbox Live points that I
Oh,
never
it's
got back.
awful.
So
You
some
never
fun
got that
stuff.
$1,000 back?
Never got it back.
Wow.
At one point, I cut off the loss. So basically, I was dealing with calling through. I had to go to file a police report, all those sort of things. And at one point, I was like, all right, like, my peace of mind and my sanity, like, I'd rather just like cut the losses, not have to deal with this anymore, think about it, and just move on, focus on the tournaments and stuff like that. So yeah, it's partially my fault. I'm sure I could have maybe gotten it back, but it was a big hassle after whatever all the hoops I had jumped through.
Everyone just go to Dave's stream and donate $1.
No,
or
no,
what is
no,
that? I'm just
absolutely,
kidding. Help him recoup. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we're gonna be looking at this squad that got second place, I believe, at the Chattanooga event. I'm not sure I don't know if they're going as Elite Four. I think they are.
Okay.
They may be the Chat Shade Squad or something like that. I'm not sure what these team names are, but they need better team names. Is what I
Yes,
think.
absolutely. But I'm sure our producers will get us the exact team names here in just a second. But I
the
think
lineups.
the game's about ready, right?
Yeah, it is. The lineups though we're looking at is the one team is Renegade, Straight Sick, Cloud, and Ryanoob. So was right about that one. Then you have Destroyed Nemesis. You have I never know how to say this guy's name. It's you. I have no idea.
Yes,
We're just
yeah.
gonna call him Mike.
We're gonna call him.
We're gonna call him Mike. And then you have Bohm. You have Bohm X, and this is the team that got third place yesterday. They, I believe, beat this team yesterday as well. Surprisingly enough, even though they only have one or two big names on that squad. Nemesis, Bohm, Mike, they stand out to me. But I'm not really sure who this Destroyed Cat is. Troy, see if he's going to be able to
making his way up with
Yeah.
this opportunity for the HCS Open Circuit.
On the come up.
Yep.
I started from the bottom, now he's here. So, but yeah, we're getting ready to start this game here pretty shortly.
Awesome. Well, I think our first game's going to be, was it Truth Capture Flag?
We are. We're hopping into CTF, and let's give Bohm a little bit of love. He's going far side. He needs to hop into the Bohm. We want to secure that storage area, so they sent two guys far side. And they make his way easily towards top. They're going to grab that fuel rod. They also have numbers and other players. Wow, down the street. That took him to go shield. Cloud's doing a good job of staying alive. And it's really important for this guy to work with the player that's tapping too, so they can get under the base. And it's really important for Troy to lock down that carbine side. If they can hold their positions here, which looks like they're not able to, they should be able to secure the cap.
Yeah, and I like what we see Cal doing kind of in our other picture, just staying alive as long as he could, trying to buy some time for home exit. I don't know if this is a good time for a run.
Possibly toss it up bottom center.
Yeah, I guess in retrospect, it would have been nicer to maybe hit a couple of those fuel rod shots and get that secure kill over at pink a bit quicker. But
yeah, he beats radar pretty nicely though. Looks like there's a couple players. He picks up a quick double kill, looking for the triple kill. That player's one shot. That's Straysick. That's the last guy alive. So it's up to Straysick to try to get position here. Nemesis is fighting him over there. He has two players over there, so they are going to be able to get this return. Let's see if they're able to actually pull this one out. Destroyed's going to grab this one. We haven't seen anything from him yet. He tosses that one out. Pink one. Meanwhile, Renegade's under the base. Gets a nice little Spartan charge. It looks like they should be able to get this return. They do have three players there.
That's the second Spartan charge that I've seen from Renegade in the kill feed. So he is going for those hardcore, but that kill was still pivotal. It not only got the return, but almost got them a cap. They got it all the way back towards pink, but obviously, like, Ryanoob and squad are not going to give up a cap easy. They are going to make you fight for every single foot that you take that flag. And I would say Ryanoob is probably one of the most, one of the smartest objective players that's been introduced in Halo in the last 5 years.
He is, and look at the squad that he surrounded himself with. It's pretty interesting because they're all really dominant slayers. Even Renegade's a really solid slayer. When I think of Cloud, I think of him as a really good threat when it comes to his shot because we were talking about Octagon. This guy's played more Octagon than anybody.
Yeah, when I think of Cloud, I think of his playstyle similar to Snipe Down. He's a lot of times kind of one of those players that's a little bit further back. He just hits every single long-range shot and just deals damage across the map. And obviously well known for a sniper. Cloud on Octagon is unstoppable.
And you can see they're going to be able to put in that first cap. So a nice job by everyone getting the slays that they necessarily needed to. And Straysick and Renegade, you can see just how many kills these guys are picking up. They're pretty ruthless.
Yeah, getting a ton of great kills, but also you saw how objective and efficient they were. It wasn't like they had to outslay and get 8 or 10 kills to get that cap. It was just like, all right, they got a couple slays that went in base, got a few slays on the way back. They got all the crucial kills they needed to get that capture.
Yeah, and here comes the collapse from the red team. They're starting to run this one pink side, no shields. He has to get his shields back, otherwise he's going to get picked off, but it looks like they do have good cover. He's still sprinting, so his shields never was able to come back. So a little bit of a misplay. Maybe want to slow that one down, get your shields back on pink one, but Straysick comes around and gets the cleanup. Meanwhile, Ryanoob just running into the base, trying to get a flank, maybe possibly a touch. That's going to be 3 dead, and this flag's still alive, so they're going to be able to get the pull on this one, possibly be able to cap this one. Renegade has the perfect shots, though, on a Bohm.
You brought up a good point about getting shields back, because that's something we even saw in the pro circuit. As usual, we're going to see, what are we calling him? We're calling him Mike. Mike has put in the flag cap, ground pounded in from attic, but we even see that in the pro league during many times where I think a player should not be sprinting. I can understand during a flag run where it's like you're somewhat committed. It's like you already
don't
even
even realize
or something.
That's one of those things
you
don't even realize that your shields are down. You think that your shields came back because it's been so long, but like everyone knows in this game, you have to stop sprinting in order for your shields to come back. So that could be the entire time. That could be for however long you want to sprint around the map. But you see Cloud doing exactly what he needs to do, P2. And like you said, he does play very similar to Snipe Down, really good at holding down positions. He always wants to get his first shot on his opponents to try to get the positional advantage. Also, good job of controlling the weapons. Looks like he's going to make his way into the flag. Nice battle rifle shots. Onto Boom. He's going to get the reversal. That's 2 kills down, 3 down. And it looks like they're going to be able to pull this one. All 4 dead. The spawns are going to be pink side, so a pretty generous spawn coming out from the red squad. Let's see if Cloud's able to get these kills and help secure the capture. Everyone now split spawns on the car side, so that may throw them off, but Cloud's not missing.
What I'm most impressed with right there, though, was Cloud's composure and realizing, guess what? I got a person 1 shot under the base. Who cares? I'm going to go into level 2, get ready to get some sort of flagpole, do some damage, and he just, you know, I think a Cloud of old we've seen chase to the bottom of the base, just worry about getting a kill and worry about securing every single kill as an individual himself. It seems like he has a lot of trust in his teammates.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of when you are on such a big killing spree and you have the camo, but yet you didn't get the capture. So
yeah,
they
there's
didn't
something wrong there.
Capture.
Maybe I think he definitely should have pushed back further.
Yeah, he could have totally been more aggressive.
Instead of staying pink side of the red base, he could have
jumping
push
top
all
center.
Pink,
jumping top center is one of the best things that you can do in that instance because you're literally in the 50-yard line and you're distracting so many people. You're someone that loved going top center and midship, whether it was even free-for-all or anything like that. And it's one of those plays that you just don't expect. Sometimes you don't expect someone to run right in the middle of the map. So
you force yourself to be dealt with is the way I always look at top center, especially when your team's running a flag. It's one of those times where it's like, guess what? If you're anywhere on the map that can see my flag carrier, I'm going to be able to deal damage to you. And if you're dealing damage to me, guess what? I can stay alive long enough to distract and let my teammate run the flag across the map.
Yeah, Cloud's on a ridiculous spree. I think this is about an 8 spree, and he's also going to be able to get this flag. But again, it's going to be someone over there. I think that's Nemesis throwing a splitter nade to try to stop this one. Cloud still staying alive.
How is he alive?
Ridiculous, Cloud. He's still on this spree, possibly looking at a killing frenzy here. He's probably 1 away. Let's hopefully not jinx it, and I jinxed it, so Mike's
It always happens,
though.
It always happens.
Mike's going to shut it down, but let's see if this capture is actually going to go in, and it does. So this game could have potentially been over if they secured that other capture, but nonetheless, still having complete map control, and someone's going to have to shut down Cloud because he started pink 2 and he ended up in your base, and it ends up with a flag capture for the side of the blue team.
I just noticed he's always had weapons on the map. He's always had a BR and storm rifle, and so we're gonna have to see what he's gonna be able to do when he just starts with a pistol here in a second, because obviously Cloud has an incredible shot. He always, you know, he's always hitting pretty much everything. But the whole point being is he had weapon advantage the entire time. He had position advantage. He controlled the pace of the game over on the opposing side of the map.
That's going to be it. Yeah, I mean, that's what this team's really scary. You have Ryan who's just going to go in and run the objective nonstop. But here's the thing is he didn't even have the flag captures. Renegade and Straight Sick did, but a 21 bomb coming out from Straight Sick.
Jesus. I mean, that's more than a couple of his teammates combined. I forget, what do we see? What was it across the kill board there? We saw
let's take a look. Oh, well, we
21?
can't.
All right. I think we saw Ryan with 8. I think we saw 11 on
Renegade, I believe.
Yep.
But yeah, he pretty much had as much as, like, say, Cloud.
And that's the craziest part, though, is like Cloud, we were watching his from, and we thought Cloud was destroying. We need to jump out of Straight Sick next game. Yeah,
seriously. These guys are going to be the favorites, in my opinion. This is going to be the team. I'm not sure what their team name is. We'll get clarification on that. But this squad is scary. This is going to be the team that's going to be very similar to the Denial last season, the favorites to go into the relegations and possibly take a spot from. Right now, it's looking like LOL the way that things are playing out. So yeah, that is the Chat Shade squad, and they're looking really, really impressive. And I'm not sure where Renegade came up as a pickup. I know that he was the 4th that they went with, but there was a lot of talks on who that player was going to be, whether it was, you know, personally I thought it should have been someone like Rami, but Renegade is another player very similar to Rami, and an up-and-coming player that people aren't very familiar with the person's play style, and sometimes that gives you an advantage. Yep.
Rami, I was talking with Monopoly, Mr. Monopoly, the Halo speedrunner, the other day, and he was just saying, like, how did not more people know about Rami? Like, Rami's shot is so good, and he's getting more and more recognition through some of these open events and free-for-alls.
All right, so the next game is going to be Plaza Slayer. This is a best of 5, and the chat squad is up right now, but it looks like everybody from Elite Four on the red team is getting pretty good position, and this is typical setup here for Plaza Slayer. You want to get control of that nest area, trap your enemy in the yard, and just try to control the sniper rifle, making sure that you're just filtering these players through the loop or watching blue. But it looks like the push for the chat squad for the blue team is going to be coming from the loop. Let's see if they're able to stop this on Elite Four. Destroyed. Getting a couple snipes. That's going to be big. That's going to be 3 players down now. And this is a lot different than the first game, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, we're finally seeing, this is the Shade Squad, right? Yes.
This right here, the red team we are watching is Elite Four.
That's Elite Four, gotcha.
And the blue team is the Shade Squad. But I want to see what's going on with Destroyed's point of view. This guy has...
I think we have the score wrong at the top, then. That's why I was thrown off for just a moment. Because
okay.
the Shade Squad, if that's Ryan Noob and friends, they just won the last game.
Well, we'll find out. I think that maybe the graphic has to be right then. So I think that Elite Four is going to be the team that's up right now. So yeah, we'll get clarification on that.
That's right. I'm old and I'm starting to lose my memory and stuff like that, and that's what we can blame it on. So I love that excuse. Because that's the thing, is like I'm 32 years old now. I can use the old man excuse in the gaming world. I'm a fossil. I'm a dinosaur.
Grandpa Walsh, man. But this is looking really, really solid for the Elite Four. Are you kidding me? Destroyed hasn't even died yet. He's 4-0. And has just been controlling this perfectly. But you have Ryan Noob crouching over there at the lift, and he's also getting him shots in behind him. Is Ryan Noob going to be able to finish this with the assault rifle? His teammates are picking up a couple of kills here. 15-4. Now Ryan Noob has to run because of the fact that his teammates dropped, and he also got called out. But he still is in the vicinity. Also, Overshield's coming up here pretty shortly. So this is a really good opportunity for the Shade Squad to get over there. Here comes the ground pound. Destroyed missing, but he does get the assassination beatdown medal onto Ryan Noob with the Overshield coming up here soon. It's going to be a 3-on-3. Renegade burns that one, 949. So sick play coming out from Mike to get him get that grenade on the top center.
And that works out well for Elite Four. So obviously, ideally, Elite Four would have loved to grab Overshield, loved to have the weapons. However, weapons and power-ups, those are huge game changers. At the end of the day, if you have a 10-kill lead and you kind of remove the element of power weapons and power-ups, you should be able to go kill for kill and kind of keep that lead throughout the time. So if anything, it's like, all right, I'd rather have nobody have it than try to take the risk of our team hopefully getting it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they're doing that right now is even though that they didn't get the Overshield, they still have the positional advantage. So with that being said, when you're down, you have to charge and get the advantage. You can't afford to slow the game down like you can when you have a lead. So you're forced to push out, try to get towards that sniper area. And Nemesis is just going to hold it with the battle rifle. He doesn't even have to leave. And he's also going to work with his teammate there in that glass area. So the sniper does drop. Looks like he just missed that one. He's going to grab it and look for the players that are going to be on the blue ramp. Takes his battle rifle out, has another player over there, gets the double kill, looking for the triple kill. Barely misses it onto Ryan Noob's head, but that could have been a sick overkill as Renegade gets the cleanup.
So do you think that was the right play by Nemesis? Like, was he just feeling it's like, all right, I'm going to go for this triple? Or do you think that's sometimes a small mistake we might see from other players who haven't competed always at the very top level?
That's just how Halo 5 is. It's very easy to get the no-scopes in. A lot of these guys are playing tons of flag warm-up, as we were talking about. We don't know if that's a advantage or disadvantage. It's each his own, really. But you can see these guys are not missing any shots, really. So they've really stepped it up compared to the first game. But I thought that was a good play coming from Nemesis. Like you said, he was probably feeling it. Yeah. And you know what it is when,
Absolutely.
We've all seen that snipe on lockout, top BR. Come on, Dave. You can't
But that was a guaranteed hit, man. All right, it's a complete different situation. I knew that was going to hit.
Yeah, well, as Lunchbox says, that one was calculated. But these guys are all stuck over here in the cafe area for the chat Shade Squad, and all these guys from Elite Four have to do is, like I said, just have to sit there at snipe side, wait for them to push over, and they don't necessarily have to do anything. But this is an awkward situation when you start running out of ammo. Here comes Nemesis again with that sniper, and they do burn the overshield again. Looks like nobody on the side of the Shade Squad even knew that it was burned.
Yeah, it looks like they were still going for it. So just goes to show a bit of their timing, and what a great stick, giving Nemesis his 10th kill, getting the Top Gun medal.
Yeah, 10-4. This has been really impressive coming out from Nemesis. This is the type of game that you need from someone, because think about it, if Nemesis was having a bad game at this point, it would be completely tied or they would be losing. So you need someone to go really big in that game 2 Slayer after losing. Even if he does start off really strong and slow down, hopefully one of his other teammates really steps up. Maybe it's Mike over here with the noob combo, but he gets taken out by Cloud. So they are starting to get positional. Ooh, nice stick coming out from Troy. Destroyed, trying to make his way over towards that Pro League. Going for the double stick. That's not going to hit, but he does have help from Nemesis.
And getting in Cloudy's
teabagging the
head.
Cloud.
Like I do respect that to some degree. Like there has to be some level of respect between the players, but at the same time, heat in the moment, like you're mailing it by, you're trying to get in another player's head, letting them like, guess what? I won this engagement. I want you to charge at me. Trying to get inside Cloudy's head.
Ooh, that would have been a sick triple kill, but Renegade says no. And Nemesis, how long has he been over at Snipe? He's been here probably 80% of the game so far. Was going to try to make his way bottom center to try to jump back up, but Cloud's making his way over towards the Snipe side. This is the push here coming out for the Shade Squad. They need to get Snipe control and start making a little bit of a run here. The Sniper Rifle is going to be dropping, so it's a really good opportune time for these guys. They just need to stay alive and keep Cloud alive. Top center, looks like Straight Six helping him out. It's going to be a wingman medal. That's 5 assists in a row without dying coming from Cloud. So
I've always said too, I would prefer the wingman medal over a killing spree.
Oh, any day.
Any day, because it's one of those things that, guess what? Not only are you doing damage, but your teammates are also staying alive. There's plenty of times you can get killing spree and your teammates have died 5 times in a row, and it's kind of negated in a certain way overall as far as the score goes. But wingman, you know that you're staying alive, doing damage, and your teammates are with you.
Yeah, but Cloud ended up dropping, and that was not a very good position. I was just about to say, this is pretty much the most important 10 to 15 seconds of the game. While you are down, you have control, and the overshield is coming up. So if they can secure this overshield, looks like that was Straight Sick to burn that one at 37, and you can't afford to burn that one and trade kills. You really need to secure that one, get kills with the snipe, and keep map control. They do have map control, but again, they don't have that overshield on Straight Sick's back.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that had to be a time where, if in doubt, they had to just get, like, not burn that OS. Instead,
yeah, or let them burn it. And
instead
bait
have like someone besides Straight Sick grab it. Like, all right, I'm about to die. I'm not going to grab this, because they need that for a swing right now. As we've seen so far, without overshield in the hands of the Shade Squad, they can't close that gap. They're just down by that same 10 that's been this entire game.
Yeah, I mean, even if they bring it in within 7, 6, it goes right back up to 10, as we see here. It's not over quite yet. They did have good positioning on the side of Elite Four, and they did sacrifice that. So interesting that they wanted to leave that snipe area when they had it under control. But as you see Renegade going in here and pushing, if he's not able to stay alive and go on some sort of spree here and clear these players out, then this game's going to be over. But if he is, they would be spawning over there towards the loop area.
And yeah, I think, as you said before, it's weird that leaving that sniper area, because it's the first time that they've gotten control of it. Why leave it so instantly? Slow it down for a bit. Obviously, the pace of the game that's going right now is not working out for the Shade Squad. Slow it down, get control snipe, hopefully try to get control of that next OS, but it might be too late now, as Bomex and the squad have 49 kills, looking for one more to close this game out.
The big problem here coming out from the Shade Squad is that they never had anyone in the same position at the hotel area, which is interesting that Cloud's going to be the final death in that specific area. They needed to really lock someone down on that awning while they had another guy snipe side, and then you get a guy top yellow and fill those parts of the map. But most of the time that they actually had a setup, they were leaving too much of the map open, which allowed them to retake control, or they actually left that area, which you brought up.
Yeah, and I just felt like it was just uncharacteristic of the Shade Squad. I mean, these are all veteran players, very good players that should know where they need to be and where they should be holding down. It just seems like they were a complete different squad. We saw how well they were running the flag on truth, how well they were synced on that map. When it came to Plaza, it seemed completely different. It
seems like they're not on the same page.
Yeah,
on
definitely
the
on the same
Slayers,
page.
especially on Plaza, which is a little bit worrisome. I want to see how these guys would stack up in maybe a Plaza Strongholds. Maybe it's just one of their weaker maps or something like that. But we know they're going to be good at objective when they have Ryan Noob on the team. And it's not like Ryan Noob's going to completely drop the ball in Slayer as well. It just seems like, again, they strategically didn't all have the same thing in mind.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's very important for these teams to do, especially a lot of these teams going through open circuit. Rather than just getting on every single day, running straight into scrims, I always try to make it a habit of, all right, let's go over a game type for a half hour, 20 minutes. Let's talk about what we think is the best idea. Where should we be standing? What do we do in best case scenario? And what do we do in worst case scenario? I always tried to look at those two extremes, because it gave you a great idea of what to do as you moved across that spectrum. It's like, all right, well, we have best case scenario here. We have sniper, OS. What spots do we want? Where do we want to go in for spawn kills? What do we want to do after we get, in the ideal world, if we had all 4 down and all 4 of us are alive with weapons, where do we want to be?
Right.
So you always have something to strive for, where it's like, all right, guess what? Right now we have 3 of the 4 spots we talked about. I guess we could get our best case scenario if we just get this
Yeah,
this other spot
exactly.
we'd like. So
Yeah, and then
I
you
think
have to have
that's
the retake strategies, and you would like to think that
I think
you
worst
have
case
your
scenario.
best case scenario, but yet you still have to have a strategy to counter your best case scenario. So now you know where your best case scenario is weak, and then it's just like, there's so much going on. There's so much strategy to talk about.
Yeah, it's insane, and that's why it's almost like taking a class or something like that. Like you need to just do a little bit each day. It's like you can't just like cram in like 8 hours of talking strategy with your team. Like at some point, it's like, all right, let's talk. 20 minutes before you start scrimming. All right, let's go into scrims, apply what we've learned, make some readjustments.
And it looks like the next game is underway, so I'm going to hop into this one and spectate. But it is tied up 1-1, best of 5, single elimination. This would, not necessarily be that big of an upset because I believe these guys did play yesterday. And keep in mind that, the Elite Four squad beat these guys. So this team did get third place yesterday. They want to obviously try to take first today. And it looks like, they have what it takes based on what I saw. Just the beginning strategies in Halo 5 are so important. You can't afford to go down, any amount.
It was almost that entire lead the entire time. They went down by about 10 kills at the very beginning of the game. They never got control of any snipe or overshield for a significant period of time, and they pretty much held in that lead. But it looks like we are into game number 3.
Let's see who we want to watch here. I want to watch Nemesis. He's going to be going over towards the camo. Obviously, the camo has moved, and we haven't seen much Eden's Stronghold, so it's nice to finally see it. He's going to be picking this one up at 47, but a couple of his teammates have died, so he's going to get pinched over there at the security area. Both those guys are one shot. That was Ryanoob and Cloud working together, and it looks like Straight Six going to be making his way outside for these rockets, too. So nice job coming out from the Shade Squad, getting control when they need to, but they need to get that catwalks, but it looks like the side of Elite Four is going for that one.
One thing I really liked there was John, I believe that's Renegade, pushed in front of Straight Sick to help secure those rockets. Instead of, I think a lot of players will first tunnel vision and be like, all right, I just need to grab that weapon as soon as possible. No, you need to secure the area first.
All right, so we're getting word that the Elite Four is going to be Straight Six team. So sorry that I've been calling them the wrong team name. But me and Dave are getting old, like we already mentioned. Alzheimer's starting to, sink in there. So anyway, but another hot start coming out from the Shade Squad, and they have a triple cap with rockets, and this is a really prime position to be in. There's multiple people into Blue Bend. I like how he's not getting too aggressive on that, and he's just sitting back. You don't have to die. You can just hold this area, so I really like that.
Yeah, it's such a strong position holding catwalk. You have view of pretty much every single stronghold on the map, and you also have the most accessibility where you can fly over towards Blue Bend. You could actually fly towards Red Nest if you want to. You just have options.
Yeah, you're also very vulnerable, so you need your teammates to fill the parts of the map, and that's exactly what Ryanoob and Elite Four are doing, and they are able to capture that catwalk, getting their first points of the game. He needs to get back into that area, though, so that's exactly what he's doing. Hasn't popped up on the radar, so this is a really sneaky play. He's going to see one player. There's also another player behind him on the radar. Nice nade off the wall coming out from Ryanoob, switches over to his SMG, gets the kill. That's a double. Just like you were saying, he can just go and fly to multiple parts of the map, and he gets 3 players weak, ended up picking 2 kills off. So nice job from Ryanoob.
Just a great patient play by Ryanoob, as we saw throwing that grenade, not jumping the gun and just start shooting the SMG. Like, he got that double kill, kept his team in the game, obviously.
Wow, I can't believe they were able to get that overshield. I thought that one was going to get burned. Also, keep in mind that the camouflage and rockets dropped, so that was a really big time for these guys on the Shade Squad to get the kills. Looks like Renegade's trying to keep control of this Blue Bend area, but doesn't realize that they're losing catwalk. He's mainly just trying to secure these rockets with Cloud. He's going to have to give up that catwalk area, and it looks like his teammates, Ryanoob, are going to be spawning on the blue plat. That's 2 kills coming out from Ryanoob, so no one watching that spawns on the side of the chat Shade Squad, and now they're all desperate to get towards that catwalk.
And look where Ryanoob is. That's probably the second time he's done that catwalk strat. He's probably hiding on that little ledge right offside catwalk and caught them off guard a second time. I mean, at some point, you have to blame them. It's like, all right, Shade Squad, you need to react, realize, where was Ryanoob last time? Guess where he was this time? If he keeps doing the exact same hiding spot and getting you, that's your own fault.
Yeah, I'm interested to see why John Renegade actually clambered up there. He's going to get a trade, but could have slow played that one a little bit. Probably thought that player had spot.
And how long
him
have
or
those
hurt him.
rockets been up?
They've been up there for a
That's
good
the
minute
surprising
and 10
part,
seconds,
because I
yeah.
originally was going to say, I was like, oh, wow, they did a good job getting kills, and I thought it was Renegade pushed over towards Red Nest and left rockets for his teammate.
Nice rocket coming out from Ryan, who easily could have whiffed on that one. So that's a really nice grenade and a really nice rocket coming out from him so far. Is also going to be landing some perfect nades onto the catwalk. That's going to take another player to no shield. Getting the Hail Mary on the Nemesis. They weren't able to capture the catwalk quite yet, so that's going to secure them some extra points. But this is a nice little setup for them. They just need to make sure that they utilize this angle and make sure they get the catwalk back and trap everybody at red. They shouldn't be giving up this red nest so easily, but it looks like they are going to start to test this one. But Shade Squad picks it off. Elite Four does have numbers, so they should be able to retake this one. Also, Cam and Overshield are dropping, so this is a really nice time for them to be picking up kills. We could potentially see another triple cap coming out, and this should give them a huge advantage.
And I'd love to see Ryan use these rockets, or his last rocket, to secure these new ones. Is he out now completely?
I think he has one left.
I thought he had one left as well.
Yeah, so he has 5 rockets total. With that Overshield coming up, that's going to drop in the pit. This is perfect for him to just be able to secure this Overshield with his teammates, or maybe even just grab it for himself. Looks like Cloud's going to be able to secure that one. Ryan still has 4 rockets left total with the triple cap. This is such a great setup for Elite Four. They probably even have the camouflage as well, so they should be able to just slow play this one. Wherever everyone on Shade Squad's going to go, that's where Ryan's going to show up with the rockets. That's why he just slow played that one to perfection. They aren't even able to capture the blue bend quite yet. Looks like they're going to be able to get the reset as well, so now everyone's going to have to go towards Red Nest. Ryan's already in perfect position.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, none of these plays that Ryan's been doing has been quote-unquote flashy. It's not like he's had the most ridiculous, like, those were actually some really good shots. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But prior to that, every single play of the rockets, him just staying alive. Like, he even, I wouldn't say whiffed a couple rockets. He shot a couple long-range rockets, didn't connect with a couple. The whole point was he never gave up that weapon. He was always in such good position with those rockets where, in order to kill him, they had to pull off something miraculous.
It's so weird to see how comfortable these guys are in the objective games. This is reminding me a lot of that first true CTF game. So if they can put it together in the Slayers, this is going to be a really scary team. But this is going to be the final push here coming out for the Chat Shade Squad. They have to immediately take this catwalk and then capture another one. Otherwise, it's going to be game over.
GG.
Yeah, this is going to be
calling it now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, they are able to get 2 of them, though, so it's not over yet. We've seen comebacks like this actually happen, but we haven't seen anything from these guys this game to prove otherwise. Yeah, the rockets are dropping in 20 seconds. The opportunity is there if they can get the camo and the overshield as well. If they're able to secure all 3 of those, they're looking at probably getting about 70 points. Nemesis getting a couple kills is going to be pretty big, but Ryan coming around with the assault rifle, that was a big win for him because now he's going to be bringing the rocket guy over there. Nemesis had to leave that area and waste 2 rockets, so all that kill did result in some positive things coming out for the Elite Four, but it's going to take a lot more than that for these guys to win.
Yeah, I mean, they have to play perfect Halo for the next 50 points. It's going to be tough. I thought they were down out. I already called GG, so I don't know what else I have to say here, but that's one of the beautiful things I think about Strongholds as a game type compared to some previous ones like
pocket full of posies. Cloud falls down. That sucks for Cloud, and the overshield's coming up here pretty shortly. So let's see if Nemesis is able to secure this one. They're going for the triple cap, so this one isn't GG quite yet, Dave. Camouflage is going to be in that area as well. Let's see who's going to be able to grab this one. Looks like Nemesis is going to help secure this one with his teammate, but someone walked in there and got the kill. That's straight sick, but that's a killing frenzy coming out from Nemesis. Hasn't missed a shot since 2004, but this guy's looking really solid so far. I know I talked to him yesterday, actually. He was really happy with his team. Gave me a little bit of intel on these guys, but looks like that's going to be curtains and that killing frenzy. That sucks for that guy.
That's kind of
very
sweet. It's like killing frenzy, but the other team is capping 1 or 2 of the points.
Come on, guys. What's everyone doing? Like, I haven't died in forever, and we're still losing somehow. So, but it was actually a little bit of a misplay coming out from him at the end where Straight Sick was allowed to walk into security and kill the guy that just picked up the camouflage. They had 2 people there. They need to make sure that they're walking away with that one.
Yeah, you need, when you have a 2-on-1 situation, you should both be walking away alive.
Yeah, and That was a big kill from Straysick. He sacrificed his life to kill the camo guy, and some sort of small play like that ends up being a big difference maker. And they were able to just sneak, I think, Blue Bend, and next thing you know, they only needed 2 more points. So by the time they
Yeah,
were
I mean,
reacting, you're like, oh god, we already lost.
they took so long to heat up, and they had to play near perfect towards the end there. And so at some points too, even when playing perfect Halo, like you sometimes have to give up deaths, you sometimes have to give up points, and gave themselves no room for error and
Yeah.
came back to bite them.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for them, and that was because the triple cap was so strong, mainly because Ryan was rotating so smoothly.
I would say Ryan Noob, yeah. At first, I was going to say Cat side, but for the most part, he was everywhere. We saw him over at Catwalk just getting multiple double kills. We saw him over at Blue Bend / Red Nest with Rockets, controlling those perfectly.
It's about trapping people in certain areas, and it's not necessarily one area is better to trap than the other area. Sometimes it's easier to predict when they spawn on the blue platform and you're on that catwalk and you can just sit there and watch that. So that's a really good position to hold, but we saw Ryan rotate everywhere, and he was aware that they were spawning over in red, and he was outside for that, and then he was outside when they were making their way out towards blue, and then he was security when he needed to be security, and they were stuck outside at the same time. So just really great awareness of the spawns and things like that, something that they didn't have in that Plaza Slayer game. So again, if they're able to put it together in these Slayer games and focus on winning their game too, I think that they're going to have a really good opportunity to possibly walk away with this one so far.
So what's your prediction here then? Are you saying that if Ryan Noob and Elite Four do not win this game number 4, that they're going to lose the series potentially? Because I mean, right now we have objective and that Slayer left.
I think so. I think that
I think that's a safe bet.
It goes to game 5 because the momentum's on the side of the team that just won the game. They also won yesterday.
They won the previous Slayer.
So if we are in Vegas, if the odds the odds would be in their favor if you were a betting man. But all in all, this has been a really good series. Like I said, all of these teams that have made it this far, they're so evenly matched, and they're all very familiar with one another. A lot of these guys have gone in team with one another to get to this point. They've played against each other to get to this point. So, no crazy groundbreaking strategies, or we're not seeing anything new here. It's just who's going to play better.
Yeah, it's not reinventing the wheel here. They're doing their own twist on the normal meta strategies.
Yep, and it's a best of 5. So that was 2-1. It's not over quite yet. We're still going to see potentially 2 more games. You're saying I think this next one is Stasis, right?
I believe so.
All right, so if it is Stasis, Ryan Noob's team, they were looking so good on CTF. Ryan Noob really great at not only doing the objective, but also making sure that he calls out his teammates if they're not going for the objective. I mean, I know numerous times where we'd be like, playing in Halo Reach, for example, on the same team, and he'd be like, why didn't you go for the flag? I was just like, I'm not going for the flag, right? And he'd be like, go for the flag. Just try it. It's fun. It works. And to my surprise, I would go in there and flag capture that you didn't necessarily think that you would get, you actually get. And that's just...
It's finding that right balance of, like, when should we slain so we get excellent map presence, and then always making sure you can take care of those take advantage of the opportunities where you can potentially cap, because it's almost never like you get a 100% guaranteed cap when you get a pull.
Well, and with sprint, and also with the way that the flag return is, I mean, we've seen a variety of different things in Halo, whether there's sprint or no sprint, or touch return, and take 3 or 5 seconds to return the flag. So you have to keep all of those things in mind. When it's not touch return and there's sprint, that means that there's more opportunities to get the flag pulls. That's why you see in Halo 5 so many standoffs, or flags getting tossed bottom middle and then baiting it. The meta when you have sprint is sprint to the enemy base, grab the flag, toss it out, bait it, and that's why it's so important to come back with the flag, especially in Stasis.
Yeah, that was also another strategy point talking with Lunchbox, where it's just like you could have 3 members down of the opposing team, and your flag guy could get stopped over at closet, over at stairs, over in front of the flag itself, and that one person himself can recover the flag.
Yeah,
so it's almost like never a guaranteed flag cap on Stasis.
Yeah,
unless you have all 4 dead, or you know where that last person is.
Exactly, and it's very similar as Fathom. Fathom, you spawn in the silo, and then you just immediately go and push in there, but Straysick didn't mean to fall. He's going to give up top position. It's a really great start coming out for the Shade Squad. Everybody on the side of Elite 4 is on the ground, and this is the very popular Ryan Noob play. You can go and grab the flag, dude. I swear, you can. He just runs in there.
I like this, where he was looking for damage or a kill first before pulling it. I actually would have hoped that he would have still committed to that strategy and say, I'm going to wait till I actually get some damage to somebody and then I'll pull it. But look at what he does. He brought the flag back all the way to the silo. He's getting top center control. He's just doing everything right.
Yeah, this is good because of the fact that they didn't have control. So now when he goes and makes this play, it's going to force everybody to make a decision on the side of the Shade Squad. And yeah, they may not get that capture, but it'll be at least the right step towards regaining the map control.
It's a potential cap, but it's also map control, like you said. It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but they do get that flag pretty far out from the Shade Squad. However, it looks like a couple people are in position. They're going to double team this one and get that return. Meanwhile, that flag still is pulled out. That's the initial flag that Ryu pulled and had tossed out a while ago. Let's see if they're able to get that return. There's another player over there that's straight sick, and they are able to trade it. So as we were saying, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, they may not have got the flag capture, but this is still another flag that's being pulled. Still a result from Ryan Noob's play because all of these things are really adding up. Cloud's going to pick up a double, and when it's all said and done, they may be able to put one in.
And like you said, this still strings from that first cap. One thing that people don't take into consideration is during these times where a flag is out, you increase the chances of your opponent making a mistake. They're more likely to accidentally sprint out in the open. They're more likely to jump out and challenge when they normally wouldn't when they're uncomfortable. That threat of the objective being captured is just enough to make even the top pro players make massive mistakes.
Yeah, and good communication coming out from these guys. Even though that they're down 1-0 and 2-1 in the series, it seems like they are on top of the guys that are one shot. So that's always a good sign for your team. They do need to lock down this railgun and make sure that they're getting the camouflage as well. But that's a good point, Dave. It's about creating opportunities, and that's what a player like Ryan does when he goes and he runs the flag. But nice shots coming out from Bohm. This flag still is available. Looks like he does get the touch. So let's see if anyone else on his team from the Shade Squad's in position here. Looks like Mike's going around, but that flag does get returned. So that's Ryan sacrificing his body to go and get that return. So that's one of those things that you're talking about. Even though it doesn't show up in the stats, he's over there sacrificing his body to make sure that his team's still in this game.
Yeah, that's potentially a cap for a death, and that's not going to show
Nice
on the stat screen. It's not going to say, well, these deaths of Ryan Noob don't really count because he stopped a flag cap.
Right. You do get that nice little return and things like that, but I've been impressed with the way that he's playing. I've actually been impressed with pretty much everyone's screen from switching over. I like to see this quality of Halo coming out from the open circuit. It's very similar to the quality that we're seeing in the actual Pro League, so very, very impressed with the way that these guys are playing. But here goes Ryan Noob again, doing Ryan Noob things. No shields, running the flag. Let's see if he goes for the long toss here. Looks like he elects to toss that one. It went pretty decently far. Looks like the return is still available, though, so a couple players are going to hop onto that one. Cloud's going to be the one to try to get these slays over here, but it looks like another player for the chat squad. It looks like they're all collapsing. This could be a cap for them.
Yeah, and looks like we might actually go to a stalemate situation right here in just a moment, which was due in part to Ryan Noob's play. I know we keep talking about Ryan Noob and objective play, but it's that important. He's done nearly everything right when running the objectives. It's all about those opportunities he's been creating.
Yeah, and very common to see a flag standoff, but Nemesis easily able to get in there. Let's see if he goes right for the return. Still has a grenade, ends up using it. Where's the help from his teammates, though? No one ends up coming in, so Nemesis with that nice double kill, but couldn't decide if he wanted to go right for that flag return or still get the grenade. Could have potentially bounced that grenade off the ground into the window there, but elects not to, and then try to just desperately throw that grenade around. But looks like Bohm is going to be spotted. They're going to know where the flag is. He has to get out of there.
Yeah, I have no idea how Shade Squad did not get more control of the map, because as you said, we saw a double kill over on Elite Four side of the map. Both members, I believe it was Straight Sick and I forget who else, were back in their base. Yet, when we look across the map, it's pretty much Elite Four had control of top center. They had control of both tree houses.
Yeah, and this standoff should last a while unless anyone's able to get this camouflage and do something with it. Looks like there is a kill going onto the flag guy, but they're just going to pick that one back up. And it's very hard to get the returns, but when you get the returns in this game type, that means that you pretty much had full control, or you just pretty much did it right when you were dying. More often than not, though, you see another flag get pulled almost immediately. So a lot of these flag standoffs, they, not only are you you are getting a cap and then taking a cap away from your team, from the other team, but you're also possibly running another one. So it's almost like a 2 or 3 flag cap difference.
Yeah, and I actually like that play of this small little nuance from Bomax right there, where he dropped the flag, went over, checked the treehouse, tried to do some damage there.
Ooh, that's a camo player. I don't know if he's going to see him. He's going to be able to get the pull. No. So as I was saying, that standoff's going to last a while.
I think Scotty thought he got the recovery. Cloudy did not actually recover the flag, so we still might be in a potential standoff.
I thought that he did get that recovery.
No,
but
look it over there. Yes, still there. Like, and that's what I think Cloud was under the impression that he got the recover.
Wow, and that's going to be a capture going over there. So Cloud with a little bit of a misplay. He's probably pissed. He picks up a double kill there, but that was really heads up by Day over there. I thought that flag actually did get returned. I'm sure everyone thought that one got returned.
Cloud for sure thought so.
Yeah, but that's a crazy turn of events there. As we were saying, that's pretty much a 2 flag caps difference.
That's a cap difference, yeah.
It looks like they are going to pull this one, but Straysick gets collapsed on almost immediately. So that's a big momentum boost, especially when you're down in this series. A little play like that, a little bit of misplay even, a little bit of luck coming out. That's the type of stuff that you don't necessarily have, but when it happens to you, you're just super grateful, and you can use that to boost the morale of the team.
Absolutely. And the other part to that too is at some points it starts to create doubt in your team. If things don't happen the way it should, like if your teammate does not make the decision that you'd like, or your teammate's like, well, I thought you had the flag recovered, like you start to question what you and your team are doing.
Interestingly enough, it's Fathom Flag, and who was the person that got Spartan charged, at the end, to not really make it into the Pro League? That was Cloud, and who was doing it to him? It was Straysick and Maniac. Straysick, one of his teammates right now. So these guys no strangers to crazy stuff happening in Fathom CTF, and like you said, that type of stuff creates doubt. You could potentially have that stuff in the back of your mind if you're Cloud, and that's the type of stuff that you have to block out and really just focus on playing. And with that camouflage coming up soon, this is a perfect position for Renegade to be in. He does have another player, though, that's top center. That's Bohm going to be looking at him. Nice shot onto Mike. Let's see if they're able to secure this camo. Should be popping up any time now. 22, because Cloud grabbed that one last time, and Cloud also grabbed a double kill at the same time. So, ends up killing his teammate. That was Ryan Noob that dropped. Now, this is the opportunity that they need. With Straysick pulling the flag and Renegade with the camo railgun, they need to put this flag in.
Yeah, and you notice, all right, this is one of those panic moments that we see from the Shade Squad. You see how they're all just sprinting across bomb side of the map? That's the kind of opportunities that you create, or the potential mistakes that you create for your opponents when you have the objective out.
But you know who's not panicking is Destroyed with 21 kills, and he also snuck in, pulled the flag, and has the flag all the way back to the bases, and even nading where the camo guy's at right now. So the camo guy has to feel like he knows that they're there, and they do collapse on him immediately. So that's such a nice play coming out from Troy. Destroyed, again, one of those guys we don't know much about, but really making a name for himself after that play. Let's see if they are able to get that return, though, and that's going to be it. So, wow. That was really quick, and those standoffs, like I said, they really result into 2 caps. When you give up control, it's so hard. It's so hard to come back from that, because you end up spawning in the silo, or you end up spawning in the elbow. Everyone knows it's so easy to predict the spawns in Halo 5, and once you get on that little spree, but hats off to these guys, man. Destroyed went big just like Nemesis did last game, but they're gonna fall down in this 3-1,
but it was kind of, I wouldn't say expected, but I would definitely say Elite Four, we favored them in objective. I mean, anytime you see Ryan Noob on a squad, it's almost him. I wouldn't say him single-handedly, but he has a heavy influence on objective games for every team he's on.
Yeah, he really does, and like I said, he brings that to the whole team mentality, and it helps out. It's like, when your head coach is the offensive coordinator or something like that in football, it's just like, well, it's a good time to be a quarterback, because we know that they're going to be focused on that specific part of your game, and that's just something that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about running the flags. You don't have to worry about being in the strongholds. He's going to go for the returns. He's going to sacrifice his body. And when you're a Slayer, when you're a main Slayer, like we saw Renegade over there with that railgun and camo, he can afford to slow play things and force the other team to play a little bit too hectic and start making mistakes. And that's just all a result from the flag being pulled.
And like you said, he works with his team where it's going to be one of those things where if Renegade or if Straysick or someone is just going for too many slays and not going for objective, he's going to call him out. He's going to say,
yeah, exactly.
Hey, in this situation, next time you're in a position like this, you need to get that kill, and then you pull the flag. I'm not saying you have to run it the whole way. Like we saw so many times where Ryan Noob, I don't think once we ever saw him grab the flag and run it all the way back to his base. So he does it in increments. He says, guess what? I'm going to run the flag maybe halfway, toss it off over by our yard or by our silo, and then we'll let a teammate finish it off or go for kills and get control.
All right, well, that was an insane series. I believe we have an overview of how everything panned out, but it was just, as we said, it was a little bit predictable. We know who the favors were going into this one, but keep in mind, Nemesis and those guys did beat these guys yesterday, and for everyone to show up on Elite Four today, that's really big for them. They need all of these points. They are, trying to, like you said, there's $1,000 up for grabs. They're trying to put that in their pocket as well. And now they only have, one more team that's going to be in their way. So it's single elimination. next match that they're going to be facing off in is going to be the finals, whether that's going to be Elevate or Check Every Corner. Not sure who that is on the other side of the bracket, but we're going to be getting that information very shortly.
I'm sure both these squads will be watching this next match because even the Chattanooga Shade squad, they're going to have to play the loser of this for a third/fourth place match for points.
I believe we are going to be able to actually look at that as well. So
I think so, yeah.
So let's go ahead. I don't know if we have the bracket, but if we do, let's go ahead and take a look at the way that everything is going to be shaping up. And as we saw that match just now, Elite Four taking down the Shade Squad, and we are going to be bringing you that Elevate CEC. So the matches are not happening at the same time. They're going to be individually. So we are happy to bring you every single match here at the PGL HCS Open Circuit. And this is just week number 1, really. So it's been pretty exciting so far, and we've seen some pretty high quality, Halo. It's just really unfortunate for that other team that we just saw, though, for the Shade Squad going on a killing frenzy, and you're still on the spree, and you lose the game. That's a very rare thing to do. And then you see Destroyed with those 21 kills making that amazing play. They just really couldn't have those performances together in the same game, and that's one of the things that you have to do.
Absolutely. As you can see, here's our matchups for the day. We just saw the Chattanooga Shade Squad take on Elite Four. We're not successful, and we are going to now see Elevate versus Check Every Corner. Afterwards, I believe we will see the Chattanooga Shade Squad play the loser of this semifinal number 1 match, and we'll do that for third/fourth, and then we will do the grand finals afterwards.
Yeah, it's important to have that third place match. Like I said, everyone needs those points, and it's a really important seed because if you're 4th seed, you're going to be going up against the team that wins this thing, and that's not what you want to have happen. You want to try going up against lesser competition. So
yeah, and those points add up at the end of the year too. Like, we could talk about probably every single nationals over the last 3-4 years when we were competing at like MLG events, and there'd be a time where it's like, oh, guess what? This team has 50 more points, and it's like, holy crap! That's the difference between like 11/12th place match or something at an event. And
one of the biggest things for me was I remember barely not making it and getting 9th place when it was myself, Defy, Nated.
That was to us.
Yeah, and you
we placed lower than you that event as well, I believe. We placed like 9th through 12th at this is the event prior to nationals.
And we didn't make it in there, and then I was coaching Status Quo, and at the time I was feeling like I was playing some of the best Halo that I've ever played. So just a couple of points can make such a huge difference.
Absolutely. So yeah, these teams are going to want to take it seriously every week because we got plenty of weeks of this. I'm looking forward to casting you pretty much every week.
Yeah, it's gonna be
awesome.
It's gonna be pretty wild, especially with the team changes as well. Like that's something that we haven't touched base on. Everyone is gonna be shuffling a little bit here.
I have enough trouble following the pro team changes, man. If I'm gonna have to try to follow the open circuit team changes. All right, let's go through this list of 100 teams. Let's see. We had
It's crazy, and keep in mind that these players probably are getting scoped out as well, because keep in mind in 2 weeks that's when the roster changes are going to be available for the HCS Pro League for the fall
it's not
season.
uncommon for some of these top players in open circuit to get poached and brought up to one of the pro teams.
Yeah, we saw Hines, and then Goofy
we
got
saw
dropped.
Ryan Noob actually filling in this last week too as well, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
Ryan
he on
Noob actually was a
the
sub.
LOL squad?
Yep, Ryan Noob ended up subbing out for Maniac, so maybe a little bit of foreshadowing there. But yeah, so I believe the game types that we are going to be seeing are going to be the same exact game types as the same round.
Okay.
So
yeah, because I think we do the veto system stuff for the legendary cups. Is that correct? And
I believe
this
so.
one might be set game types.
Yeah, I believe
I'm not
so.
sure.
So we have Truth CTF. I believe that it was Slayer Plaza, and then we had Eden Strongholds, and then Fathom CTF. Not sure what Game 5 would be, but obviously we will be bringing you Game 5 if it ends up going to that. But we are going to be seeing, this squad, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this guy, Wanward, I have no idea who that is. I want to see what that guy's going to do.
Yeah, let's see what Brandon's doing right off the bat with the sword, though, and taking off Burton. So Burton and Blaze have been teaming together and playing together for quite some time, like pretty much
They really have since the beginning of Halo 5.
Actually, the very first Halo 5 tournament that happened like the weekend after that they were teaming at that event.
Yeah, and they've kind of gone through their ups and downs as a duo, almost like you do in any type of relationship, really. But these guys have split up, gotten back together, and here they are playing up against Elevate, and their team name is Check Every Corner, but they need to check Randa because Randa's running this flag pretty quickly with the sword, and two
Great
players are going to be
movement
taken
though.
out.
Like he knew exactly the angle that someone had from blue side pink, and what a triple kill from Baby J. I'm surprised that Baby J did not pull that flag though. Like
he's looking for the overkill still.
Yeah, he's still looking for slays, but I think that's almost a guaranteed pull, right? Like
That's
even if
definitely
you're
a
going
good
for that
pull.
slay over at the pink side, you can still get that first toss. That first toss is 10, 20 meters or whatever in the Halo universe. That's a big difference. You don't have to go all the way in the exposed level 2 spot of the base, and that triple kill is all for nothing.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Baby J, the free-for-all winner at the tournament where that was being held at the Novo Center as well. So maybe a little bit of a free-for-all play coming out for him, maybe a little bit too heavy on the slays, but he did have the fuel rod, so I don't blame him. But it's good to stay in the enemy base with that fuel rod.
Absolutely.
Looks like Aries going to run out here with the sword, and this is Wanward. We have no idea if Wanward is a new guy or if he's playing under a different gamer tag, but from what I'm seeing, he's definitely got some really good shots with the battle rifle. Ends up pulling that flag, but he was no shields, gets cleaned up by Aries.
Did I maybe have it messed up? Baby J was defending his base. Maybe that's why he wasn't going for a flag pull. All right. My first of many mistakes while casting the PGL open circuit.
It's okay, Dave. Like I said, getting old, it happens, you know. At least you're wearing pants. That's good. That's always a good sign that you didn't forget that in the morning. But yeah. So I want to see this Wanward guy because we haven't really necessarily seen much from him. And
yeah, and that's the whole point of these open circuit events is these players who may have not previously been known this is where they get the spotlight. Wanward making a name for himself right here, obviously going against some big names. Like if they're able to take down players like, you know, Randa and like players like Baby J and whatnot, this is gonna be huge.
Yeah, I mean this is big because these guys aren't necessarily as known or don't have the experience that these other players do, and they're hanging with them to start this game, and it's been pretty impressive looking at the way that they're shooting. They haven't had the map control, but yet they're still right into this one. And you know, Hunter JJX, he's one of those guys that
he's a free-for-all.
He's a free-for-all guy. He could potentially go off at any given time. And these guys, the only, I guess, bad thing you can say about them is that they're a little bit inconsistent. But I guess that's why a lot of these guys are still here, right? Is because if they were playing as good as they could all the time, then they're very close to being in the pro league. So it's just a matter of putting those consistent games together and just making sure that they're, you know, playing at their best at all times, especially today when the tournament shows up.
Yeah, you never want to be in a situation where you have to play your best to win. You want to be able to play some sort of mean amount and still be able to pull off victories, because if you're always relying on someone has to be on fire, someone has to be hitting these shots, someone has to be hitting no scopes, you're not playing correct Halo. You aren't being in good positions. You aren't actually using double teams. You are more reliant on inconsistent plays.
Yeah, we're on board with Wanward again, and every time we go to this guy's screen, he's getting kills at the enemy base with the battle rifle. So definitely a nuisance. Good to see him playing aggressive, and you can learn a lot by just, you know, looking at these guys' screens. You know, seeing that he's always in powerful positions. We've seen him so far P2. We've seen him on the enemy base. That's the type of positions that you want to be in. You don't want to be on this side of the map if you're Baby J, unless you're just securing flag captures and flanking, and that's exactly what he's doing. But it looks like Blaze does have the fuel rod. He's stuck down bottom center. Baby J is going to get that cleanup. Numbers advantage coming up when the camo is there, so that's really good for these guys. Let's see if they're able to capitalize on it. Baby J making his way over there with the fuel rod. And no, Dave, this isn't his base. He's at the enemy base. You can see because the outline of it is blue. So he's over there making his way, trying to get in there and get these necessary slays. And this is a flag standoff, if you guys are wondering. And this is pretty common in Halo 5, especially with the sprint. Try to get in there and get that flag out. It is flag at home to score, but
and I wouldn't even say just because of Halo 5 though too. I think the knowledge of Halo players has also increased over the years. Like you would never see teams doing counter pulls for the most part back in Halo 2. It was like, oh, we're on pure defense now. They're running the flag back. I need to just go try to kill their flag carrier.
Right.
And now you see all these players have, you know, I would say knowledge of some of the top players that we've seen back in like 05 at times.
Yeah, it's just a lot of it, in my opinion, has to do with sprint because how easy it is to just get into the base and how hard it is to keep track of that very first spawner.
That's fair. Yeah, I would say that definitely has a huge factor on it.
So when you can't keep track of that very first spawner and he gets that extra second or two on you and he's already sprinting over there, you just look at that spawn and by then he's already at your base. So that's probably one of the most important reasons why we are in so many standoffs, but I don't think of it as like a bad thing. I think that being able to be a team that's good at flag standoffs is a hard thing to do. It's pretty much 50-50. That's why it's a standoff. You have to decide how much resources you want to allocate towards playing defense or how much you want to push. And typically you see a lot of buddy system happening.
Yeah, and I think we see from the best teams how they just do it absolutely perfectly, where it's like, guess what, we're down in numbers, everyone's going to pretty much be on defense in this case until we have numbers again, and then we actually push out, and they know how to do that perfectly. Like you said, allocating those resources to the correct spots.
And Randa isn't successful in his push, so let's see what Wanward's going to do. It does spawn over here car side. Sees Baby J top center. Wanward with some nice shots is going to pick up the carbine as well. Keep in mind that camouflage should be dropping here. Aries trying to pull this flag. Nice nade coming out from Wanward, looking for the double kill on the player with the fuel rod. That's Baby J as well. So Burton getting a nice perfect on a tire iron. Here comes the return coming out from Wanward. The fuel rod player not in position. Let's see if they're able to put this flag in. They're running it pink 1 as well, but that is Hunter. That Baby J with the fuel rod does get that kill. Wanward, no shields, trying to push this one in. Does die to Aries running behind. If Aries is able to get this return, that would be really big because Tire Iron's pulling this one.
Not just a return, but looks like the potential counter cap. And look at that. Elevate just taking absolute advantage of that small mistake from CEC. They turned it from potentially being capped on to a counter cap.
Wow.
5 minutes left in the game, 2-1 lead for Elevate.
And you could see everybody on check every corner is just giving up that cap, and that's not a bad play. That was going in, so Burton heads up play just to get map positioning, kill Aries finally with that sword. Hunter JJX trading kills as well, so this is a big 2-on-2 situation. Got to work with Blaze, which he does to get that kill car side. Make sure he keeps all of his shields here. Got to stay alive with that sword. But going back to that cap, that counter cap, I guess it was Baby J with that fuel rod cannon underneath the base, killing the flag guy from medium to long range was pretty big, and him just staying alive in general.
For his team?
Just enough time.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was sometimes hard to break apart those plays and seeing how they're able to stop that flag cap, because at one point I just thought for sure that was a goner.
Yeah, and this is a really good opportunity, though, for check every corner. Hunter JJX needs to get that kill, but had to reload. Tire Iron's going to be over there on the Eli trying to stay alive, but I don't know if Hunter
this is not the greatest play. I mean, he's a player who can hit all his shots and get a perfect kill, but look at how much time Tire Iron took from Hunter JJX.
Yeah.
That's like the entire
it resets the map pretty much. He wasn't able to, do anything. He's still pretty much going to be fighting Tire Iron right off spawn. Tire Iron's just going to be able to push up P2 here. But the good thing is that they do actually have P2 control, and they do have 2 people there. Unfortunately for them, their teammates are all dying. They need to all stay alive here, especially Hunter JJX. Wait for his teammates to come over towards the pink side, but unfortunately they spawn over there towards the car side, and the camo is coming up. So that was a really important time for Elevate to get those kills. And meanwhile, Randa's making his way over into the base on the Eli. Has a couple players on his radar, so this is a pretty good position to be in. Just needs some more support.
Well, look at how often we see the Elevate squad force CEC just to play defense and clear one member out, like Randa's doing it right now. Tire Iron did it previously. The reason that I thought it was a semi-mistake from Hunter JJX to keep chasing and going around is it's one of those things that's a risk versus reward situation. When a player is at your base and you get a one-on-one, if they kill you, they can run that flag. They get to actually get partially across the map, especially if you're the only one in position. However, in the reverse of that, like, you get that kill, it's not a game changer in certain cases. It's only a game changer if their team has like control of the map and they're about to go for the pull. So it's one of those things where it was a best case scenario for Tire Iron. If he won that fight, he was going to be able to run it across the map.
This could potentially be it. That's only one player that's going to be trying to get that return. The return does happen, and that's it. So that's going to be 3-1 going over to Elevate. Keep in mind, Elevate did win yesterday, so they're looking really strong again today. And based off that game, I mean, we could say the same thing from the first series. Maybe Check Every Corner is a better Slayer team, but I'm already, going to predict, just as we were, before everything even started, Elevate going up against that Elite Four squad, and they had very similar play styles in that, very ruthless with the objective. Baby J going big with the slays, very similar to how like a straight sick would go. So these teams going to be very evenly matched, but it's not over for Blaze and Burton and these guys quite yet. They still have, possibly 4 more games to play. But overall, I was just really worried that they didn't hold much map control that entire game.
Yeah, it felt a little sloppy at certain points. But that is weird because there's certain times I was like incredibly impressed. I'd see someone like Baby J like get a couple kills, then work his way towards top center, which I think is a great position to be when you have the other team stuck on their half of the map. And then there's other times where it's like, all right, they're running down like bottom of their base, trying to worry about a kill that isn't entirely relevant.
Yeah, or like, for example, Randa crouching over there on the flag or on the Eli, and then Burton flying out, exposing his back, getting assassinated. It's like, you got to assume there's already a guy P2, so why are you even flying out there like that? So
Yeah.
just little misplays like that will really cost you. But the thing is Elevate really punished these guys for a lot of their mistakes and really capitalized, mainly that counter cap. They didn't hesitate with that one. They just immediately got in, pushed it pink 1, went and secured the capture. They had necessary people to come back and return the flags when needed. They played the flag standoffs pretty well as well. So just really solid Halo coming out from
it's an
Elevate.
indicator of a great team when they can take advantage of their opponent's mistakes. Like you said, it's not that they only got the flag stop. They turned it into a counter cap.
Right. And yeah, that's a lot of it from communication. I mean, I think that Aries is a very underrated communicator, just a really underrated teammate and player in general, as well as Randa. The way that these guys call out, tuning into the stream, you can hear them, and it's definitely a conversation, and they're definitely really excited. I hear them like, I got a triple. All right, we'll run it this way. Like, that's the type of stuff that you need, and you need to be pumped up on tournament day. If there's any time to get hype, this is the day, and you can see that that's where they're at right now. They're playing very fast. They're on top of all the spawns, and they're not letting these guys get away with anything on the side of Check Every Corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, this game's next is going to be Plaza Slayer. The players are getting ready, and we're going to bring you to that one. But we are getting news that we will not be bringing you, unfortunately, today, the third place match, which is going to be...
So that's like lie number 2 or 3 I've said today so far. I'm not. Yeah, I've been keeping count.
Don't trust.
Whatever
Dave.
I say,
Hashtag
don't believe me.
Dave. Yeah, we need to get that going in the chat. But thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the matches so far. It's Walshy Walsh and the Squaredy Bunch bringing it to you from the PGL studios here in Las Vegas. And again, these players, we had 100 teams show up for this whole thing, and that's pretty solid. Hopefully, we continue to see some sort of growth like that. And
I'm excited to see what kind of players emerge from this open circuit and also the live event free for alls.
Right.
I'm always curious to see the new players. Is it going to be some of the same people? We're going to still see like straight sick and hard JJX dominator. We're going to see new players like Rami coming up through the ranks and destroying.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the individual, performances shine here. You have a really good opportunity because all you need is, if you're really individually talented, is just someone like Dave over there to bring you under their wing and then start teaching you fours, and then you're good to go pretty much. And that's what we saw, like, for example, with Pistola, right?
It's happened through all of Halo. Yeah, every single time. It's like veterans, they benefit from getting one of the new guns that can be molded, where it's like, guess what? You have a great shot. You still need some refining on your 4v4 skills, but that is a very teachable skill.
Yeah, it's... there's so many fundamentals, there's so many attributes that make a great player. And if you are at the top of your game in free-for-all, you already have a handful of things. You just need to be introduced and start thinking outside the box on some of these team things. But for example, Baby J is one of those guys that's really, he's done great in fours, but he's even done a better job in free-for-all. So let's take a look at Baby J's screen and see what he's going to do. Keep in mind that Elevate is up 1-0 in the series so far. So Baby J making his way over towards the overshield.
How did he get away with that?
51, and also gets the sniper rifle. So curious to see if he's going to play aggressive with this one, because having sniper overshield's a little bit counterproductive because it does slowly just tick away. So he looks like he's going to get aggressive with it and switch to his pistol. I like this play.
You like the... I guess I can't disagree with, using the overshield while you still have it. To me, it just feels a bit off charging in when you have sniper.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's going a little bit too far, but now he does get these picks, and that's pretty good. But like I said, it's counterproductive, so it's like he at least switches over to his pistol, but now he needs to be thinking about getting in a little bit better position or having one of his teammates rotate, because overall, I think, being over at Snipe is the ideal spot. We did see Royal 2 in the Pro League. He loves holding like this glass area. It's not uncommon for players to get over there and feel comfortable, but...
Yeah, it's not horrible, but you still need generally the snipe area still under control. So it's like, if you have snipe area under control, and then you can go towards
then
glass,
that's fine,
it's fine. But yeah, I think that's most important. Now, here's what is really important to note, though. So we saw Baby J got overshield, got sniper, but guess what? they are only up by 1 kill. That's not what you want to see when you have such an advantage.
Well, a lot of it is because he left that area. You know, we're talking about how we got 2 kills. It's not a bad play. It's not the best play as well. But the best case scenario is to not be stuck in these little situations. Because if you were still, that's a nice kill, but you're stuck in the dip, no shields now, and you could potentially be over towards the snipe side. So these guys have to really focus on getting the snipe side control. It looks like Elevate doesn't have that quite yet, but here comes the collapse coming from multiple angles. They're going to push that loop side and try to get over there towards the posters area. 100JJX is holding this over there towards the benches with another player, S4, on his team, working with Baby J. So 100JJX ends up getting double teamed, and this is what pretty much Baby J needed to do, and he needs to just hold this till towards the overshield comes up, but looks like a player in the flowers area spots him, but this is a good spot to be in as well. However, there's another guy behind him that was crouching the entire time.
Doesn't want to die.
He's doing a good job staying alive. This is perfect. Overshield comes up in about 3 seconds. He needs another teammate to help him out. Blaze with some really crispy shots onto him. Looks like Rand had killed Burton. Probably Burton
that had to have been a burn, like around like the 49 or 50 mark, but
good collapse
either way, Baby J was there to contest that the entire time.
Well, this is a good collapse, but they need to be aware of the spawns behind them, and they left that whole snipe area aside. So, you can see the player
I don't know if I
outlines.
agree with that. I mean, obviously it's working for them. They're up by 8 kills at the moment, but I think if you're looking at other top teams in the Pro League, they're going to do something where they're generally holding snipe, you know, forcing them over to spawn yard and trying to get a couple kills here and there, but I don't really see it as them always collapsing in on positions. When I see Baby J playing, originally when we first saw that push, we saw him, you know, pushing because he had sniper, OS, and, you know, he busts out his pistol and try to fight people in yard. Now, to me, it just almost seems like Baby J just goes wherever there's action. It doesn't matter if he has the advantageous position or not. He says, oh, well, I'm not fighting someone right now. I must need to go over somewhere else and fight.
Sounds like Shockwave to
me. Just finding action, man.
Sounds like Shockwave on Guardian. But yeah, I mean, this is really good positioning coming out from these guys, but they need to fall back a little bit. So I don't agree with Blaze pushing in towards that light rifle area. Just sit here and hold this. I mean, you're only down 7 kills. Again, when you have control, all you have to do is wait for the other team to come to you. Use your radar. Do exactly what Wanward's doing. I like the way that these guys are playing it. And keep note that Burton Ooze, you can see his player profile name, is in a really good position over there towards the hotel area. So all they got to do is wait for a pick, and then they can elect to collapse and just watch the spawns. But no one on the side of Elevate's poking out, so pretty disciplined. Wanward finally getting that kill onto Tire Iron. That's going to be Aries over there towards the loop area, but Wanward needs some help. But nice job staying alive. There comes the help. Blaze coming in with the pistol. Now it's only a 5-kill game, and everyone's still stuck in the yard area, Dave.
Look at this difference. When we saw Elevate had control, it seems like they would just collapse in wherever CEC were. Now look at the difference between Wanward. Wanward gets a kill or so, decides to still just hold like this light rifle ledge, decides to just hold out and make Elevate push out into disadvantageous positions.
Well, here's the push because Overshield's coming up, and keep in mind that was burned probably around that 43 area, so everyone's going to have the time for this one. This is the battle for it, though, so whoever comes out on top is going to have a pretty big advantage. Randa over here in the dip area doesn't even look over there, so
yeah, it's got to be burned at this point. Someone has to have it, or it's burned.
Aries has it, so Aries has that Overshield snipe combo again. Let's see how he plays this one compared to how Baby J did. Now his Overshield's all gone. Dinks Burton over there towards that yellow area. Good position here for Aries to get a couple of picks, but Burton with the nice nade. Here comes the collapse over here for CEC on that poster area. They're going to be able to get snipe control and also trade some kills. So Baby J ends up getting the snipe. So no one on CEC ends up running over there. They just bait that sniper. Let's see if it works out for him.
Incredible focus, though, from CEC. We saw Aries got called out immediately when he had sniped. Everyone just focused on that. Burton and team collapsed in and took him out as fast as they could.
Speaking of Burton, we're on board with him. He's stuck over at the truck trying to make his way over towards the snipe. Everyone at Elevate found at the bottom of the map towards the Prius. That's a really good opportunity for 100JJX to get a couple of picks over towards that area. Sees Aries carries. That's 2 going over to 100JJX. Only a 6-kill game now and control. So this is looking pretty good so far for CEC. They're going to be able to continue to get grenade kills, and everyone kind of just individually dying for Elevate. Elevate needs to just regroup here and decide where they want to push from, but Burton's over here doing a nice job staying alive. Needs his teammates to come over and help him. Looks like this is when they're finally going to collapse on everybody over here towards this area in the yard, but looks like 3 players stuck in there. Nice death nade.
It's a great kill, yeah. It's good to get at least 1 kill out of that 1v2 or 1v3 situation, but I just got a question. It's like, all right, is this the right way to play? In your opinion, do you think You would play Plaza where you're collapsing in on yard.
Well, I would collapse on yard, but I would always keep one guy to anchor that snipe area because now you're just giving
so that
these
you don't
people
get them
the
to lift spawns.
Yeah,
Instead, you'd want them to spawn like possibly a hotel or cafe or something like that.
right when the snipe's coming up too. So it's like, why would you leave the snipe area and just give them the sniper right when it's coming
And
up?
OS is coming up in like 5 seconds. So
Yeah.
we got to see who's contesting that because Aries got the last one. I believe Baby J got the previous 2. I don't know. I think it got burned. So yeah.
Yeah, Aries got the one before that, but it's coming up right about now, so it looks like Randa's on top of that one. I think Randa was able to grab that one right at the 40 mark, so big advantage over here to elevate. If Tyron can do something with the sniper, he doesn't even have to because he has teammate support, so still a nice little lead here. Gets that double kill. There's a triple kill waiting for him over at the snipe side. He's looking for it, but they all hide, not giving him the clip, so they do trade map position for the sniper and the overshield. Now they can just slow this one down, and it's not a bad play considering the time as well. 5 minutes left. I think we're going to see 50 here, but the mistakes coming out from CEC have just been the same mistakes that Elevate and a lot of teams do. They collapse on the spawns, and also they collapsed at the wrong time, like we were talking about when that sniper's coming up, when that overshield's coming up. So if the collapse works, they spawn behind you, and they have perfect opportunity to just regain control. So it's again, it's just counterproductive. So these guys need to watch out for when they're making their pushes and make sure that they're pushing at the correct time.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, yeah, it's one of the toughest parts for me because it's always been ingrained in my brain since Halo 1 where it's like, play around like the weapons and power-ups. I'm generally not pushing around to try to just find a random kill. It's like, I'm positioning myself for the next power-up, and when I fight someone on the way, I'm going to obviously fight them for that weapon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a positioning game. It really is. It's just about holding spots and taking what comes to you and all the situations that that come up. But when it's all said and done, with the amount of mistakes that CEC has made, they're still in this game, down 7 kills, and Elevate only needs 7 more to go, make that 6. So they're just trading back and forth. And this is a really crucial time because the overshield's coming up here in the next 15 seconds. Now they're finally getting the picks that they need. If they can get over towards that snipe side, which Hunter JJX has the combo, let's see if he's able to do that. Nice little thrust as well. Has support. They are spawning blue too, so if they're able to get that intel that they're spawning blue, they're not in good positions on the side of Elevate to get the overshield, so this is looking really good for CEC. They also have this time, so let's see what happens, Dave.
That was a 5-kill swing without any sort of power-ups or power weapons. Now let's see what Hunter JJX and crew can do if they get this overshield, and yes, who secured that? I did not see the name.
We'll find out.
It was Burton. Unfortunately, Burton's not in the best situation, or the best position, and he's already lost 3/4 of his overshield.
Yeah, and 3 of his teammates too. So all of those picks that just went over, it could have, say it was 45 to 41. If those 3 picks went over to the side of CEC, we'd be looking at a tie game. But this one isn't over quite yet, even though that they have 49. However, they are looking for that last kill onto Burton, even if they're able to get the trade, and they do. So Randa coming up clutch here, and Randa and his squad Elevate. They're going to go up 2-0 in this series. So they're looking really strong, and just small mistakes coming out from these guys.
From both sides.
From both sides, the same mistakes too. They were both making the same exact mistake, so a little bit worrisome. Keep in mind, though.
Well, that's the thing is we've seen everyone seemingly not playing Plaza Slayer as well as they should have today. Even when we were watching the previous match with Elite Four, they far played it from perfect.
Yeah, well, a lot of these teams, a lot of them are newly formed teams,
Yeah.
you know, just getting together within the last couple weeks and all playing at a really high level to make it this far so far. But down 2-0 in the series, not looking too good for CEC. And
I gotta say, it's also so easy to criticize from the booth where it's like, oh, yeah, he should have known. That's like, dude,
I did it all
if you watch all my Halo 3 gameplays, all the times I charged out like an idiot and died.
Oh, man, all the last couple days, that's all I've been doing is roasting people. It's a good time. It's like, oh, yeah, what are you doing? Shooting the wall, man. Come on. But yes, and I love it when people fall off the map too. There's a lot more pressure when you're playing.
Yes, and it's so much easier to like to sit from here and be like, oh yeah, he shouldn't have challenged that case. It's like, dude, if I was playing, I would have challenged that for sure and died.
You saw me playing today though. I started off on a nice little killing frenzy to start the day.
We were doing a run of show as Tom's playing. He's going on a killing frenzy as we're still like trying to do like, all right, what's next overlay? Oh, okay, that.
Got to get in the games, man. Got to get in the games. Got to stay up to date with everything. But yeah, I want to talk about this series because when you're down 2-0 and the way that you've played so far, you don't really stand much of a chance unless someone really steps it up big, and it's really up to the beginning of this game. You have to come out strong with a good beginning strategy here, not allow, say like Randa to get the overshield or, anybody else to pick up the camo. It's a very quick game type if things get out of control, and we saw that happen with the Elite Four. Elite Four had a triple cap, but I'm already looking towards possibly seeing what this finals is going to be. To me, I think that this series, it's not necessarily over till it's over, but
No, yeah,
we've
we've seen
really
playing reverse
established
sweeps before.
Elevate
We've seen
and
playing
Elite Four.
comebacks.
They're the two best teams right now. They're the two most experienced teams that could potentially go into that relegation area and knock out these teams. So I'm looking towards that, and I'm thinking about how we have seen the same game types here and who's necessarily played the game types better. And it's hard for me to predict necessarily who's shown up.
Yeah, it is really tough. And I think despite all the mistakes we've seen at sometimes being made, yeah, these top players who have been near the top of the scene for a while, like they're just showing their experience. They're showing how well they've played in the past, and a lot of times even too, just their skills carrying them as well. Like some of these players could have just formed today, and if they have so many great shots on their team, they're going to be able to win their 1v1 engagements, going to transition. At some point, too, we always talk about like people being like free-for-all players or team players. Yeah, everyone at this level has a good indication of where they should be and what they should be doing. There is a significant difference between a lot of the top players, a lot of the smartest players, and pro players as far as their positioning and their overall understanding of strategy. But at the same time, like it's not like these guys could form today and still have a good idea of what they should do overall as a team. What's going to show in the fine details how much these teams have gone over strats. And let's see what they've gone over as far as starting strats. So we see Tire Iron heading towards security, try and go for that camo.
Yeah, pretty common strategy coming out from Tire Iron, but he gets hit with some nades from behind. He gets cleaned up as well as he burns that one. So 49 for that camo, Dave. And taking a look what's happened on the blue side of the map, looks like Wanward is going to go for these rockets and also help his teammate Cap Blue Bend as they're getting the catwalk too. So good job over here coming out from these guys, and that's exactly what they needed on the side of CEC to start this game.
Yes, and great secure of rockets, but he's in a tough position. It's okay, I guess, wasting them there, but I think Wanward had known they were coming out from Red Bend. At some point, if you've made eye contact with the rocket guy, it's like, all right, you got to reposition. You got to do something different. Yeah. You're not going to catch someone off guard because everyone can expect that long-distance rocket towards there. I mean, he did get a little splash damage. Could have maybe done more damage than I expected. But I guess it wasn't all that bad because he did get rid of at least the rockets. It's not like he gave away full rockets or anything like that. And he also got surprised over from that blue sneaky.
Yeah, that was a really unselfish play. I mean, it wasn't the best way to look around the map or anything like that. He could have been a little bit more aware from when they were charging him, but that is very unselfish to waste those rockets, and it did end up coming in handy.
It's pretty selfish. Like, if I can't have him, no one can.
He is. Come on, man. Don't be so selfish. But overall, this is exactly what these guys needed to do to start this game. They started off with a triple cap. Now they have an ideal setup, which is catwalk and red nest.
And I got to give credit right there to Wanward for both shots. He was in a 2-on-1 situation, got that kill right before that second player came in. So anytime you're in like a 1-on-2 situation, if you're able to take down one player with you, that's a win in my book.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is. And this is going to be really hard for these guys to capture Red Nest, but they are bringing two people into the stronghold, and they're finally able to capture the first points on the side of Elevate. Curious to see why CEC didn't go towards the catwalk side and throw more grenades over there, but nonetheless, the overshield and the camo and rockets coming up here in the next couple of minutes. So this is a really important time for everyone to make sure that they're not dying. So Aries has to stay alive. He ends up getting taken out, trying to contest that blue bend area. Tire Iron was the person that burned that camo, so he knows that that one's exactly 952. So let's see if he's able to secure it. He's just going to bait it so far. Once he sees that player going in,
maybe he doesn't fully remember.
Wow, does he not realize that the camo is up right next to him?
Okay, yeah, it's there.
Thank goodness.
Maybe he was just expecting someone to come around the corner or something like that. He was expecting to be contested maybe a bit more. But I like that play where he didn't just commit to catwalk. He said, all right, I'm going to get camo first, and then we'll go get catwalk.
Yeah, and he's double capping this one with his teammate. Blaze does have the rockets, though, and picks up 2 kills, so they're not aware Tire Iron is collapsing on this, though, with the SMG, which is a good gun to have. Picks up the double kill, looking for the triple kill on Blaze towards the red nest. Is he able to get it? Randa ends up stealing that one, and then there goes the overkill behind him. Hunter JJX coming into the security side. Nice Spartan charge by Randa, but Hunter JJX gives him the beatdown, hitting up the gym recently, and everybody's going to go towards that red nest area. But this is a nice job from Hunter JJX. Just needs his teammates to capture this, and they are able to. Now they need to focus on collapsing on these guys in security.
Yeah, and I still want to just revert back to that Baby J play. Like, he literally fought all 4 members there for a second. Like, got a double kill with SMG, played it so smart with his positioning, not revealing to both players in the hill at the same time. I think it's underrated. A lot of people don't realize just that small difference of being 1 or 2 steps over and only exposing yourself to 1 player can make the difference.
And look at Blaze's kills. Has more kills than his entire team combined so far. So really impressive performance from him coming out strong. And this is what you need. You need someone on your team that's won a tournament before to come in and just step up and say, hey guys, this isn't over yet. And they're looking really good in this game so far, trying to bring this one to a game 4 Fathom CTF. But they're going to need to try to get security control and get control of that catwalk. Landward, splinter grenade. That's not how you come back.
No, dude. But it is, like you said, it's motivating when you hear a teammate, like someone like Blaze, be like, 2 down, where are we pushing? Like, it's so motivating knowing that someone's stepping up, someone's getting kills, and helping make this a possibility. Like, they're in a triple cap situation, unfortunately, but we're gonna have to see how they react here. And I like how that they're getting catwalk. So,
it's a good start.
One part that we didn't talk about on strongholds on Eden is what hills or strongholds are the most important. And I personally feel like catwalk is the #1 most important stronghold on the map.
Catwalk and red nest are the 2 that you want to hold. It's okay to hold this setup.
This is one of the odd maps where you can hold any sort of combination of them. Like, there's many other maps where it's like Empire or something, like you want bottom hill on one of the sides or whatever, and stuff like that. But yeah, go on with what you're saying, why you think top and red are the best.
Well, it's because of the angles that you can get. Like you said, you can really utilize the catwalk to watch things, but you just sit there and you trap them over towards the blue platform. And it also gives you pretty good angles. Obviously, if you're holding catwalk, you should have the advantage towards getting the camouflage also. And remember when the overshield used to spawn closer towards that red nest area. So before it used to be even stronger on the red side favor, but that was a really nice job from Blaze killing the camo guy. But it also gives you just a little bit more positioning on that overshield too. So
that makes sense. You can also double up as far as your firepower in each spot. Like generally, if you're in a spot where you can watch catwalk, you're probably in a spot where you can shoot red nest.
Ooh, nice melee on from Burton onto Randa, but Randa's going to be in this red nest. Looks like he isn't able to capture it, so if they're able to get this reset, they may be able to get the catwalk as well. Meanwhile, Blaze is over there towards the blue bend, so everywhere, everyone kind of spread out on the side of CEC, but they are starting to collapse. Now the spawns are split. Landward gets a double kill. Nice shots from Blaze. He's able to get that blue bend. Rada's tire iron comes over there. Now everyone's going to rotate. It is a triple capture, and this is one of the things here for the blue team. CEC doesn't need to try to stop the triple cap, but he should be watching outside. He should at least be watching outside, but I do like that he didn't overextend.
Yeah, so he just went back and said, guess what, we're down a member by blue bend. Time is on our side, and he just decided to push back, make sure no one spawned over at red, and
yeah,
then just got a good angle on red nest.
It's a good play. He could have contested with his BR in the same position that he's in right now, but nonetheless, he's going to come over here, get that double kill right when the rockets are coming up, gets a killing spree as well. Keep in mind, this rockets, when they drop the overshield and camo, will be about 15 seconds after that. So this is looking really good for CEC. This could be their opportunity, but Aries gets a big double kill. That was Landward needing to get that kill a little bit earlier before his teammate would die so they can get those rockets. Here comes the flood from Elevate going outside towards that red nest. Another player in the pit. That's going to be Tire Iron. Landward checking out his SMG is not going to be enough, and this is a huge fight for the overshield here.
Yes, both squads just diving down there. But at the same time, CEC are still racking up points from that catwalk / red nest set that they had. Finally reverted. Elevate finally scoring some points again. But great job for getting their 30-point lead.
Yeah, and they're looking to extend that again by going over there towards the blue bend. That forces Tire Iron to get a little bit too aggressive over there. But look at Baby J with the Rockets camo and the overshield, the dream combination on this map.
How did he get that? So that's why there was so much going on. It's like, all right, they're having another stronghold, but Baby J is just grabbing every single weapon on the map.
Yeah, and this is really good for Elevate because it's not over for them quite yet, and Baby J's in really perfect position, but I wish he would fall back a little bit, and that's exactly what he's doing. So he's going to really be a nuisance and just distracting.
Staying alive with camo is one of the most important things you can do.
He's still got more time on his camo, too.
Because here's the thing is what we're not seeing on screen right now is those players over by Rocket side.
Still looking for him.
Yeah, they're still looking for him by the bend. It's like, oh, he's got to be coming up near blue bend stairs or by red bend, and guess what? Baby J's all the way over by security fighting your other teammate.
Yeah, exactly, and you have no idea where he's gone, and you can't call him out either, so it's just distracting, but he's making nice rotations over here and just securing this red side of the map. Now, they're only 30 points away from walking away with this series 3-0. Rockets are going to be dropping in 30 seconds, so this next fight is going to be really important. So,
play.
wow, that's a free-for-all player for you, sitting there crouching off the radar, waiting for you to walk by and gives you the back smack, but that's the type of thing that you can't do by yourself.
That was just like that one next level move where, you know, a lot of players would just sit in red window there, watching red nest and watching for catwalk. He's like, nope, I know someone's going to try to do the long flank.
Yeah, but that's a little bit of a mistake because you want to go, not from Baby J, but from the other player. But nice job getting catwalk. Look at all of them just flooding in there, and they sacrificed 2 people, but are able to capture that, which is really good because it's 80-86 at that point. So every point that you're getting is huge, and the camouflage is going to be up. So the fact that they're holding security is a pretty good sign for them. Baby J is going to try to anchor this red side and be fighting a player, but another player flanking from down below, looking for that overshield. Who's that going to be? That's going to be Wanward, but they're waiting on it with the Rockets at the same time. Hunter JJX over here, and they did lose that catwalk, so they have to make sure they get over there, maybe try to get the camouflage as well. Hunter JJX in the pit's going to have to rotate out of here ASAP. These points are going to be racking up pretty quickly. They're capturing the blue bend, so looking pretty good for CEC side. Let's see what happens over here. Hunter JJX doesn't necessarily have to challenge this, but nonetheless, still getting that kill. That's 3 dead. Last player in the red window. That's the last player for Elevate. This could be a triple cap. This could be the game going over to CEC. I think it is. That's going to be it. There's no more time left for Elevate to come back. This series is going to be 2-1.
And we thought this series was potentially over, but this is exactly the spark you need
Blaze.
to get a fire lit up. Yeah.
Blaze, what do you know? The spark, the fire, the blaze. It's happening. It's happening. Chris, good job, Chris. Good game by him.
That's exactly what you need to bring your team back into a series. Just take it game by game, and that's what all these top teams will tell each other. It's like, it's still not over. You're up 2-0. Don't get too comfortable. Keep playing how you're playing. But in the opposite side, it's sort of like, all right, guess what? Down a couple games, making it interesting.
Well, they didn't make mistakes that game, really. They didn't make that many mistakes. The only mistake they made was maybe when they pushed in and Baby J was crouching around that corner and they started to go individually.
I wouldn't even consider that
but
mistake.
Then they brushed it off.
That's pretty unforeseeable. Like, there's certain
well,
times
it's
where
just you don't want to go by yourself. You don't ever want to make a move on any stronghold necessarily by yourself is what I'm trying to get at. But they made up for it instantly, and that big play was when they all came from the catwalk and just said, hey, all 4 of us, let's just charge. And Elevate was in good position. They had people in the window, but they had to reload because there was 4 people running out.
So, yeah, like, I guess what your main point is that you always want to have multiple people going towards there. I was viewing it as a situation where, like, maybe Burton just, you know, maybe his teammates aren't up yet. He's buying time, maybe securing the area to get ready for it.
Yeah.
Because at some points, it's always about that allocation. Like, all right, how many people we send in here?
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, they didn't make many mistakes that game, if any. And
it was still an insanely close game, though. So that's kind of scary.
Close game.
So we saw Blaze going off, them not making many mistakes, and they only won by, what, 9, 10 points?
Yeah, but a win is
a win. That's true.
End of the day, a win for them. And they made a lot of mistakes in the first game, and they made a lot of mistakes in the second game. Not a lot, but the mistakes that they did make got punished really heavily by Elevate. So they need to make sure that they just eliminate those. And if Blaze plays like that, you know, Blaze is a very, very good shooter. He also gets in your base a lot. He's like a Ryan noob that can slay pretty much, and that's a very scary thing. Again, one of the things on him is sometimes he's a little bit inconsistent.
I would say Ryan noob's a bit more consistent as far as putting up better numbers in objective games in most cases. But yeah, Blaze might have higher and lower extremes. Like, he can go get way more kills than Ryan Noob or whatever. It's hard, but I would classify them as similar players.
Watch for Blaze. We're going to be on his point of view, but in this game, I want to see, because he is ruthless when it comes to the flag, and especially in Fathom CTF. Like, I wouldn't doubt if this guy ends up having like 8 flag pulls this game. He immediately gets into the base. He immediately starts pulling it out, and then just starts running it towards the pit or just running it top center, and it's just distracting. It's annoying, and it's like, it reminds me of one of those, you remember when you like play on your fake account and then you get matched up against those teammates that literally just go for the flag and run it? That's going to be Blaze, this Fathom CTF.
All right, so Fathom CTF. So I actually want to start off the match with him then when we do get in there, because I want to see if he's just going to sprint straight towards. He's going to go like maybe bomb center for railgun or go through one of the alleys.
I'm pretty sure your strategy is to go right for your flag to start the game. Let's see. It's going to be funny. I really hope.
I hope it does too,
really
but
hope this happens,
it always happens, especially when I'm casting. Like, I'll predict something, and Guaranteed not to happen. We're gonna see Blaze go like top center, not push in across like the 50-yard
gets
line.
an overkill. Doesn't go to the flag after.
All right. Looks like we do have the game loading up right now. So game number 4, Fathom CTF. We have Elevate up 2-1 against CEC, and we're gonna see if series is gonna end up right now or we're gonna go to a game 5. So jumping out with Blaze with the movement.
Oh, come on! I see he would went right for the flag if he hit his jump.
So I believe he's learned that one from Tizoxic. I was actually out let's see, it was out in Toronto at Halo 5 Open event, and they won that event. It was, I believe, Blaze, Burton, Tizoxic, and
Tiz got that like kill tag or something.
Yes,
like that.
It was disgusting. It was on Coliseum. Yep. But yeah, I remember him showing me some of those moves. Like, all right, watch how fast Tiz gets to top center on this. And I was like, are you kidding me?
You thrust and hit the corner, and there's another way that you can even fly higher in the air, and you just go all the way towards the opposite bridge. So numerous ways to get towards top center. It's definitely a little bit risky, as you can see when Blaze missed it. He exposed himself and wasn't able to get in position quick enough and ended up just dying right in the beginning of the game. So if you do land it, it's very rewarding. But nonetheless, Tyron getting the first pull of the game. Looks like he's also has his flag pulled out. So potential flag standoff here coming already to start this Fathom CTF game. Oh, nice job turning around.
Play though, kill. Like I feel like if Tyron didn't get that kill, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go towards top center. But that worked out incredibly. It's like, oh, guess what? The person that was chasing me got him, and that's going to be the first cap of the game going towards Tyron and the Elevate squad.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind that when he turned around and fought Blaze there, he was also one shot. So just getting that headshot onto Blaze before Blaze was able to do so onto him, and Random over here using that auto stabilize. A little bit sloppy with the shots, but nonetheless still killing Blaze and making his way over towards bottom center. Another player one shot down there. That's going to be Hunter JJX. So 3 players for CEC drop dead, and this is a really good opportunity for Elevate to push in.
Yeah, and I like what Randall's doing right now. He originally was going to go towards top center, but instead he just tried to get a view on the flag, saying, guess what, I haven't seen anyone move over from engine yet. You're safe if you want to push in through elbow. And I guess Randall must have either had a call out or just knew that someone's in his treehouse. And he said, get out my treehouse.
This is my treehouse.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice splinter.
Did you ever build a treehouse when you were a kid?
I did not.
I did once, and then my neighbor, he fell from it, and we weren't allowed to go in anymore.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, I hope that he was okay.
Oh yeah, it was like a small fall.
Sounds like he
nothing
choked.
bad. Yeah, it was nothing
choked.
horrible.
So it's like falling off the map, but fell out of the treehouse. Well, that's sorry to hear that, Dave.
No, he's all good, man. He is all good, but he kind of ruined the treehouse for all of us, to be honest.
Jeez, that guy's no. Did you hang out with him after?
We're not friends anymore.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I wouldn't doubt it. Anyone that ruins a treehouse is no friend of mine. Hopefully he's not listening. Just like, it was Ogre too. Just kidding, Tommy boy. But anyway, Randa over here, and he's laying down some shots. And again, we were talking about Randa. He's poised, he's due. It's his time to eventually make his way into the Pro League. Maybe it's when they expanded to 10 teams or something, but he's always been floating around that 9th, 10th, 11th area for Halo 5 and just hasn't been able to break in. And he's always playing high level, whether that's in scrims or even Money 4s or anything like that. Always a consistent player that makes plays like this that you just don't expect. And he's like, what is he doing over there in that area? And also has consistent shots.
Wow.
So that little play results in a double kill and also a protector medal.
Yeah, and that's weird because I do agree. I would say Randa's consistently been placing around that area, but I would say during MCC he had quite a much bigger range, whereas like he'd be sometimes placing as high as like 3rd or 4th, and then sometimes as low as like 10/12th. So do you think that it's just more competition here in Halo 5, or do you think that MCC maybe suited Randa's playstyle more?
I think it's a lot of it is the draw of the team changes as well. It's just he's never, the opportunities that come up, and you really have to just take advantage of them when you run games and things like that. Sometimes running games is hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, there's that social networking aspect of the gaming world.
There's politics.
Yeah, there's also the part too where some players are affected much more by certain team transitions because maybe their playstyle revolves more around the teammates, whereas certain players, I would say a lot of people with insanely good shots, they aren't affected as much because they're more so like, all right, I'm just going to slay anyways. I'm going to pretty much do the same thing I'm going to do. It just depends on how much backup I'm getting.
Yeah, and I think that they have a really solid lineup here. I think that Aries is a great duo partner for him, and obviously they have the teamwork that's been going on with Tire Iron for a while too. And then Baby J, a really solid individual player. Great free-for-all player, great shot. Has been playing Halo 5 at a high level since it came out. So this is potentially Randa's time. They're going to have some stiff competition. Obviously, this team that he's facing right now, a handful of other teams. I'd say there's a good 10 teams here in that open area that all could potentially fit into that top 2.
Yeah, and this is the very first open bracket for the open circuit event here. So there's plenty of times for teams still to emerge, to show up. Like, who knows? They could have had a close 5-game series like round 1. Elevate could have had that earlier today, that a team could potentially make it in further in the bracket.
Yeah, Elevate's had a pretty tough bracket as well. I mean, even before this, they were facing off, I believe, against Captain Anarchy and Gabriel's squad, which they're, no
Very
pushovers
familiar,
at all. And
big names in the
that's
scene.
a very, very tough team to beat, and they ended up winning that series, obviously, to find their way here, and now they're up 2-1 in this series, up 1-0 in the game. So this is their opportunity to capitalize. I know that the players from Elite Four are definitely watching this, trying to see what level of competition that they're going to be facing up in that grand finals today, but it's going to be very even, whoever they play. But to me, right now, from what we're seeing in this game, at least in the series.
Back-to-back ground pounds right there. Randa getting Blaze, Burton getting Randa, and Burton getting the flag grabbed.
But the flag is being pulled out here. As you can see, this one's going pretty quickly. So Burton's trying to dipsy-doodle, as Strongside would say, over there towards that area. But meanwhile, Hunter JJX coming in, getting 3 kills, and also pulling this flag. This is looking like a counter cap as well. The return's definitely going to come in. They need to make sure they have someone coming over here and securing this side so no one spawns
Where's
silo.
the recub? How did they not get it yet?
I don't know, but it looks like...
That's the most surprising part to me. I thought that recub was a guaranteed recub.
Oh,
and
stuck
obviously
off
not.
the wall. Randa with the nice stick, and also using that thrust, going to take Hunter JJX pretty weak. But you're right, Dave. They didn't get that return, but Hunter JJX, I love the way he's playing this one. Sees the advantage, pushes in. Does he get the triple kill? I think he does.
JJX is like, all right, I got to kill them. I got to run the flag back, and I got to go back and return the flag too. Do I got to do everything?
Does he have to cap it? No, he doesn't. All right, they already got put in, but he does get the railgun, and Hunter JJX, I loved that he had the positional advantage to go in and charge that and said, hey, teammate, you go and cap that flag. I can go in and immediately help, and he communicated that as well. That's not something that you just go and do and just do on a whim. You have to tell your teammates.
You have to say, whoever's spawning, I'm leaving the flag for you. I'm going back to help get this flag recovery.
Ooh, nice nade by Burton through the Roy spot that we saw miss the jump the other day. But Wanward over here with the railgun. This is the first time we've actually seen Wanward in a pretty powerful position, but he ends up dropping with the railgun. Let's see if that pays off for him. Probably wanted to stay top center, but he does have 2 teammates top center as well. So
yeah, and that might have been like playing
play.
a little too selfless. That's sometimes where either your teammate has a panicky call, like I need help over in front of the base, and Wanward gave up position rather than potentially staying in a better spot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can just react based off the influx of someone else's voice, and like you said, they sometimes causes panic. But either way, this is all tied up 1-1, and Wanward has that battle rifle back in his hand. We've seen him do some pretty good work with that in truth. So missed an opportunity for a Spartan charge there, but gets the beat down somehow in Tire Iron, even though he's not even in the screen. So that probably looked pretty funky from Tire Iron's screen, but that should open up this elbow side of the map with the railgun spawning here in a couple seconds and Camo coming up soon. Meanwhile, this flag is being pulled from Ares, and he's getting kills at the same time. So Wanward needs to make a move.
This is interesting though. Like Wanward's opting instead to go towards top center and go for slays rather than going for a counter pull. Like I think in most cases I would see a player like Blaze or someone like Ryan who'd say, all right, you're pulling our flag, guess what I'm doing? I'm going to pull your flag.
Well, fortunately for them, Hunter JJX is going off and he gets that return. So that was a missed opportunity coming out for Wanward. It seems like he's kind of second-guessing himself, so going to need him to clean it up just a little bit. But Tire Iron, speaking of clean, some really nice shots with that light rifle onto Burton, and that was a perfect before that. So he's really only missed 1 or 2 shots with this light rifle so far since it's been in his hand. Ends up running out of ammo. But let's see what Wanward's doing, because we did see that small little misplay with the railgun and then also not coming back. So let's see if he's able to put it together here for CEC.
Yeah, and it also felt like when he was going towards top center, he got caught off guard, got shot from an angle I was unaware of, but regardless, it just seems like he seems to maybe falter sometimes when his flag is pulled or when he's uncertain of what to do.
Yeah, and then we're on board with Randa, and we saw some pretty good things coming out from Randa so far today. He's no shield, so he's trying to stay alive over here. Gonna see a couple players on his radar and call him out for his teammates above him, but he has to appear on the radar himself and start making his way up here now. Baby J picking up a couple kills. If he's able to get a kill, they could potentially get into the base here, see what they're able to do. That's Hunter JGX crouching bottom center. So this is a good play coming out from Hunter JGX, because if you're the last guy alive, that's pretty much the best thing you can do is just not give up your position. But once he gets a kill, they do charge out. So
yeah, he has to move eventually. At some point, you can't let your teammates fight a 3-on-4. You have to find the right moment, but I agree, you want to wait for your teammates to come up so you can all make a push together. I would much rather execute a mediocre strategy with all my teammates rather than try to do the perfect strategy by myself.
Yeah, exactly. But this is looking really good here for Elevate to get this second capture, and there's only 2 minutes left. But Blaze and Burton getting a couple kills. Nice nade coming out from Blaze is going to stop that flag. So let's see what he's doing on board with Blaze's POV. He's going in for
the flagpole. So that's what we were talking about before when I was talking about Wandward. I said, guess what? Blaze is going to go for a flagpole, or Ryan is going to go for a flagpole in that situation.
Yeah, and now we have Hunter JGX, and keep in mind, Hunter got that amazing triple kill, and then also got that flag return to secure that first capture and only capture. And Burton had a fantastic game so far. Most kills on his team, does get taken out, so nice job by Aries getting the player that's on fire and also has the weapons, but they're on top of these guys. Blaze also getting that kill, and look, he's back in the base already creating more opportunities.
And just pulling that flag. We called it at the beginning of the game, and you're seeing it right now. Blaze, not even caring for a shield back, says, I'm going to run this all the way to Treehouse.
Ooh, he needs more help, though. Is that? Baby J with the huge double kill and gets that. Oh, doesn't get the return quite yet, so is going to leave that flag. But
not too much of a threat, though, at this moment. I mean, he got the double kill, got the relevant kills on 2 players. But, yeah, I'm a little confused as to why he wouldn't just kind of get that right away.
Because he wanted his stats to be better, so he sent Randy.
He went for he was like, Randy, you get the flag recovery, you die, and I'll go try another kill top center.
It's like, yeah, Randa, you know, my fantasy points, they kind of mean something to me. Yeah, screw making it into the HCS. But 1 minute left. Keep in mind, guys, that if no captures happen here, this will go to overtime, which means it's 3 minutes, and it won't be next capture win. The whole 3 minutes get played out. So Burton's over here, sees a couple players on the elbow. None of those nades hit, though. He threw about 20 of them, and still, though, was able to get the kill onto Aries. So this is really big by Burton, just distracting the base while his other teammates push up.
And look at that, Randa making a mistake. Tire Iron and Aries both at their base still. This is all because of Burton's distraction and Burton just staying alive. He did not rush to grab that flag. He played this patiently and perfectly, and we're seeing him run this down the alley.
And he can, if he can capture this in the next 20 seconds, that's going to be pretty much game over. His flag is out, but if both flags are pulled out by the time it hits overtime, we will go to full 3 minutes. And keep in mind, like I was saying, it doesn't end by the next capture. So these guys need to
It's looking like we're going to stalemate.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to stalemate overtime here. The series is 2-1.
You just see him pissed. He just throws his fist like, come on, man.
Yeah, right. Just melees the wall a couple times. But this is going to be huge. Whoever's able to, you know, get this standoff is definitely going to win this game, because as I was saying, Dave, a lot of times in these instances, one flag cap results into 2 because how hard it is to actually get that flag return. Unless you have the camouflage and can get a sneaky return, typically it takes a really good team kill and just get everybody dead.
Aries just gave away his position, I think, a little too much. I don't think they had any idea. Oh my gosh, yeah. I had no idea who got the flag recovery there, and
that's crazy
Aries
that they got that flag
a
capture.
Flank there. Yeah, I didn't see really anyone across the map. They had to have been one sneaky
typically when you see, yeah, it's probably a sneaky return, but typically when you see a capture like that, you see like immediate pressure, like it was like, oh, he barely captured it, because they have so much pressure coming in, but they didn't have any pressure really at all. However, they did get this flag pretty decently out there. It's all the way towards the porch, but everyone is dying, and let's see if they're able to get this return. Ends up ground pounding the wall. That one misses. There's other couple players over here on that porch and silo area, so they are doing a counter pull, and if this flag is returned, keep in mind that Elevate will tie this one up. It looks like they are going to be able to get this return, so huge plays coming out from Elevate. Now, next capture will win. If there is no capture, I believe we will be going into a full replay, right? As well, yeah. So, we've seen a couple crazy things happen in Fathom CTF so far.
Yeah, we've seen some long series. What was it was the
3 replays.
EG Optic one that was recently. That
and
was
then
3
C9
replays
as well.
Yeah, it gets a little out of hand.
It does. It gets a little out of hand. So it's a full replay, and then if that full replay ends in a tie, then we do next capture wins after that. But still a minute left in this game, and Randa laying down some shots. It seems like Randa really likes this position. Ends up pushing his silo to blue treehouse pretty often, but that's the mentality that you want to have. You know, it doesn't matter where you push in to get control of that enemy treehouse, but that's probably the most important position to lock down, so you can really force the spawns over towards the enemy silo.
And look at this. We see 3 CEC members all over in the treehouse. Obviously prioritizing that top center control and not getting it easily, though, as we see just these members of Elevate pushing towards top center, whether they're jumping up from there or jumping up from treehouse side. So just constantly vying for that position.
Ooh, nice shots coming out from Baby J. Playing the defense with the assault rifle, killing Blaze, and then going top center, getting the perfect onto Burton. Looking for some more people top center. That's Hunter JJX. Sees another one Wanward. So here come the slays. Also the pressure coming in from Elevate. That's another kill going over to Baby J, but he has to reload. Blaze is over there too. Switches over to his assault rifle. Here comes the push again.
This is last chance. They have to run this as fast as possible. They can't really be too worried about a potential counter cap. Just go for this cap, and then worst case, you go into overtime, and that's exactly what Elevate are doing. Have it all the way across the map. I think Aries trying to defend his own flag, stop this pull, getting this recovery in time. Who is bringing in? Randa dies. Aries bringing in.
3,
cap
2.
at the last few seconds.
Wow. 3 seconds left. If Wanward would have maybe pulled that a little bit further, or
like tossed over towards elbow or something a little different instead of the path along.
I mean, it's all, you know.
Yeah, we're nitpicking at this point. Yeah. I mean, obviously they had.
It was wild. It's
14
crazy.
minutes and 45 seconds before that to prove they're the better team, but at the same time, you can still look at tiny, small mistakes like that, and I do see from time to time, Wanward seems like when there is a like a flag hold or a pressure situation, he might second guess himself, or he might not push out in the correct way they should.
Yeah.
So that time, I think Wanward did a great job of going for flag. I agree with that play first off.
Needs to
now
be a
it's just a question more of like, where should we toss it? I think a lot of times people are always under the assumption that tossing it into the front in the yard is usually safe. It's like, all right, they're going to have a tough time recovering from there. But this was a very unique situation where we had all these members of Elevate already in the yard. No one was by elbow. So that might have been the one spot to go to and just buy some time. But it's so tough to say. Even if you did that, not sure if that would have happened.
Yeah, and we can see the entire series score. It started out on Truth CTF Elevate taking that one 3-1. Then we moved to Plaza Slayer. That was a close one, 50-46. And then we saw that Eden Strongholds. But besides Truth CTF, all of these games were extremely close and pretty much came down to 1 or 2 decisions or
yeah, I mean, all of those are just a couple play difference. I mean, 50-46 Slayer is a difference of a kill or two in certain cases where that gives you control, that gives you the next couple kills, so on and so forth. We can go through so many hypothetical situations when that happens, because it's true, though. It's once you start to get those snowball advantages, you can roll with it and get huge leads. But that was an incredible match. We're going to be seeing Elevate versus Elite Four.
Elite Four, yeah.
But before we even do that, though, I think we have a short replay video here of a little bit of the action that we've seen earlier. So let's take a look and see some of these plays from Randa and crew and early from some of the other matches.
Yeah, Randa, he played pretty well. I mean, both teams played pretty well. If you're on the side of CEC, you have to be feeling pretty good by the way that you played these guys, and keep in mind that these guys won yesterday too. So you're potentially playing, quote unquote, the best team. Obviously, it hasn't been proven quite yet because we haven't seen the grand finals, but it was a 3-1.
Did you see Blaze shot himself in the field right there? I didn't see that the first time, but I'm glad we got it on replay. This is that great play by Tyron where he only exposed himself to one player, comes in, takes 0 damage, and he shortly after that fought both the following 2 players. So
yeah, I mean, everyone really played well. Like we said, the only thing that we saw was maybe Wanward a little bit flustered at times,
and they were minor mistakes. But that's one of the things. Like you need to have one of your stronger or more objective oriented players just kind of coach you on what to do in those situations. That was a big
play as well. That was a big play when Tyron and Blaze were both one shot, and Tyron tossed the flag out, turned around, got that headshot, and Blaze. Little plays like that. That's what
it's the difference makers. I mean, we saw the scores of this last series. We're talking about like a 50-46 game. We're talking about a 3-2 flag game. One little difference can make the game.
Yeah, and when you go back and you watch that replay of what happened there at the flag, it's all happening so quickly. Maybe Blaze could go and look at that one and be like, oh man, the Camel guy was one shot returning the flag, and we only needed 3 seconds, so the flag wouldn't have got returned, and it would have still been able to push towards overtime, blah, blah, blah. But mainly, you can't look at those individual
No,
plays.
yeah,
You have to
it's
look
tough.
at overall strategy, what the big takeaways are. The big takeaways are hey, we're going up against Elevate. We only lost 3-1, and every game was friggin' really close. So overall, these guys, they got to be feeling good going up against TCSS in that losers finals there to take that 3rd, 4th place match. So
Yep, we won't have that one on today, but we will have this grand finals between Elevate and Elite Four. So
yeah, this is what we were expecting. These are definitely couple players that have done well throughout Halo 5. They're on the outside looking in, trying to make their way into that HCS Pro season, and this is kind of where it starts here. Building up these wins, making sure that you're getting that confidence. A couple things that you got to be careful about: the team changes. Also, in 2 weeks when that roster deadline comes up for the actual Pro League, is if you're winning these and if you're at the top,
it could be scary. Yeah,
someone is going to be trying to poach you, one of your players. So
yeah, and at some point you need to have either that trust amongst teammates or almost just have that upfront talk saying like, hey, if I get an offer from pro teams, are we taking it or are we all sticking together and just getting our own squad in there?
It's like when everyone jumps in the pool. Let's go on 3, guys.
Yeah. But
Not.
But yeah, it's great. Just doing these sort of community, and I wouldn't even call this grassroots events. I mean, we're in a huge studio out here in Vegas. It's incredible to be able to do this sort of stuff. But one thing we do is we listen to the community. Yeah,
we do
one thing
a
that
lot.
we do is we listen to the community. We listen on Twitter. We listen to the chat, and I hear everyone saying that you want a 5-minute break before the grand finals. So that's what we've been reading.
All right.
And we're going to give it to you since you asked for it. So we're going to go to a 5-minute break. When we come back, we have Elevate versus Elite Four.
Survivors win.
Reinforcements are inbound. Detecting a massive Covenant force heading our way. Enemies are assaulting our core. Defend it, Spartan. You're the last boots on the ground. Stop them at all costs.
As Farouk would say, all right. It is the grand finals. Dave Walshy Walsh. How
It's
you
robot fighting time. Oh, wrong Farouk quote.
Oh, we are in the grand finals, though. It's Elevate going up against Elite Four. Pretty standard, I guess. Pretty predictable in terms of
What we expected.
what we expected. But the games have been close, and I'm expecting this series to be exactly the same.
Yeah. The same in which way? Like, it's going to be a close series. Do you have anyone favored, particularly in this matchup?
I don't know. Let's take a look at the bracket, and we'll see what these teams are playing, and maybe we'll get a little bit more insight on what our predictions could be. But Elevate going up against CEC, the match that we just saw, and then
Insanely
Elite Four.
close scores.
Hold on,
though, too.
don't interrupt, Dave.
Oh, man, that's all I do, though.
Just go ahead.
I was going to say insanely close scores. I mean, the 3-1 series doesn't do it justice. I mean, we saw a 50-46 match. We saw, 100 to 94 in strongholds, and a 3-2 last second cap on that Fathom CTF.
Yeah, a lot closer series than that TCS Elite 4 series. So based on that, we're not sure who's going to win that third place match, but you got to say Elite Four looked a little bit better compared to Elevate. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, they looked more dominant in their match, but it's also hard to say which one had the better opponent, and that'll all be settled here in just a moment. And here are our maps for this next best of 5. It's going to start off with Empire Strongholds, Coliseum Slayer, Stasis Flag, Rig Strongholds, and Regret Slayer.
Yeah, I'm not sure who these game types actually favor, but it's interesting to see that we're going to see Empire Strongholds, and then we're also going to see Stasis Flag, 2 game types that we haven't seen today. And those game types aren't very often played in the actual HCS Pro League themselves. Probably the 2 least played maps and game types out of any. So how practiced are these guys? How prepared are they? I think that they're going to be ready no matter what. Obviously, they're not going to be like complete stasis noobs or anything. They're playing in the grand finals. So,
but it's going to show quite a bit because Stasis is also one of those maps and game types where the spawns aren't as straightforward as far as like blocking. There's plenty of times you can be over towards closet, towards shotgun, and someone could still spawn right next to you. So you have to be very aware of when you are or you're not actually blocking spawns.
Right, and there has to be a lot of communication on
Yes.
what's going on. Are you, leaving a certain area of the map that's open, but you're not, communicating it? That's a big mistake, and that's a lot of the times what we're seeing happen. And we saw a lot of mistakes coming out from Elevate in that series. That's something that they can't afford to do against this Elite Four team because they're veterans. We're moving into that next level of competition, that next level in the bracket where teams are going to be playing at an even higher level.
Yeah, and I have a feeling during this next match, I'm favoring Elite Four on objectives, and I would say I'm favoring Elevate on Slayers. So my first inclination, my first thought is that if Elevate's able to take one of these first few objective games, I think they can take the series.
Yeah, they won yesterday, and this team that we're seeing lost pretty early. I believe I'm not sure who they lost to. I think they lost to Nemesis' squad, and they're coming out hungry today. They're coming out ready to fire. We saw how well-rounded their actual play styles are. They have 3 really solid Slayers. They have Renegade, they have Cloud, they have Straight Sick, and then they have Ryan who's, just constantly pushing in the objective. So they gotta, like you said, they have the advantage when it comes to the objective games. It's just important for them to put it together in these Slayers.
Yeah, and I think I heard that they're starting the game up, so I think we're going to join up here in just a moment and just kick this off. I mean, we can theorize all we want about how this match is going to turn out, but we're going to see who shows up and plays today.
Yeah, guys, and I will be pressing X so I can turn off the thing to the right-hand side of your screen. So don't worry, we are fixing that. But thank you for your comments in the
and
chat
I'm sure
section
they
your
had
tweets.
to be very respectful, tactful comments. Hey, could you please turn that off? I'm sure it had to be worded that way, right?
Stupid noob. But Empire Strongholds, we're hopping in this one, and who do you want to watch?
I want to watch the objective master Ryan Noob. I want to start off with him.
All right, well, let's see what Ryan Noob's got in store. He's flying out and going to jump top center. So Ryan, always, innovative with his beginning strats. Typically, you see a lot of people do the same things, and Ryan always switching it up and bringing something new to the table. Looks like he's going to go in towards the pit. There's going to be a player in front of him. That's going to be Randa. There's also someone with the saw behind him. Shocked that he's able to get so much pressure on the pit already. Just needs another teammate to come in there, gets that green gun shot onto Ares and gets that kill, but they aren't able to capture the pit, and anybody that knows anything about this game type knows that this is the most important part to control. Once you get this, you capture one of the side bases, and the pressure is on, so you're going to see just a massive fight here towards that middle of the map. No one able to get control quite yet. Looks like Elevate's going for that one. Tyra and getting a double kill. They're still going to have to contest on the side of Elite Four. That's going to be Straight Sick coming in with the assault rifle. Still just constant back and forth, Dave.
Yes, since the very beginning of this game, teams have been trying to capture the pit, but it's so easy to stop. And many times where you just get a great grenade, just get a shot, even just jump in the pit and contest and deny that for a little bit. But as I say that, Elevate getting the pit, putting some points on the board, and they also have Saw.
Yeah, this is a really good spot for Aries to be in. He's running out of Saw ammo, so he needs to back up a little bit. And this is, you know, where you see the good teams add the pressure, and that's exactly what they did. But meanwhile, while that's happening, it looks like everybody is making their way towards the pit for Elite Four. So they actually get the slays in only 9 seconds for Elevate. That's pretty uncommon so far, but they do have the side bases as well. So there it goes. It's going to be 11 points overall. So as they do that, though, they're rotating back in towards the pit. So constant back and forth trade here. It's pretty uncommon to see. Typically you see someone hold the pit for a good 30, 40 points, but these guys all didn't realize that he had no ammo in that Saw.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Generally, a lot of times we see the pit being held for much longer, but both these teams prioritizing it so much, whether they are committing and actually getting time in it, or if they're actually just trying to keep the opposing team out. It's amazing what you can do with just one grenade or a perfect ground pound to keep people out. And one thing that's changed quite a bit from previous patches in Halo 5 is that they extended the range of the Stronghold pit. It used to be even tougher to get control of.
Oh yeah, and the overshield used to be in there as well. So the team that already had control of the pit would just go and grab it, but that overshield's been moved outside because the take-back strategy.
I love that change.
Yeah, is typically to go outside, and yeah, just a nice little change there makes it just so this game type snowballs a little bit less. But either way, this game type is one of those that could get out of control very quickly, especially if another team gets the triple cap. But just so much pit pressure coming in from Elevate, they're finally rewarded. But as they're rewarded, looks like they trade 3 deaths at the same time. Aries over there gets that splinter nade, but still loses a little bit of his overshield in the process.
And look at this. Why do they have everyone in the pit? Elite Four already, they just tried to rush it, and look at that. 4 members down there giving Aries a triple kill. They have control of the map, and that's a massive mistake. I mean, I can understand getting in pit, trying to dogpile on it, and get it a little bit faster, but that is one of the biggest disadvantages you can have when you have everyone all clumped up, when you have a grenade perfectly placed like that.
That was funny to watch. I mean,
that was nuts.
That may have been a call that Ryan made, where you just like everyone go fly in there. But you know, that's not the mindset that you want to have. But it's good to see that they added that much pressure. And look at that, they get a triple cap. And Baby J only 1 kill so far. Meanwhile, Aries 12. So that's a pretty big differential when you're.
I mean, I'm no math major, but he has 12 times as many kills as him.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. And you know what I love from Cloud is that he didn't overextend on that. A lot of players are going to easily just charge in that and be like, my triple cap, I got to keep it, and they'll just die. And then once that happens, then you lose the numbers, and then you even lose your double cap that you have. So smart play coming out from him, not to overextend. It's just up to these guys to hold the pit. They don't really have to do much else. Just watch that security side. There's only a sliver left, and they get it. Straysick too late to rotate.
Yeah, Straysick was very indecisive there. He originally tried to go towards pit side, then decided he wanted to fight over at that red bend, and then kind of went back and forth the entire time.
Well, look, they captured a side base, so they went for the triple cap, and they gave up the pit. So
I disagree with that. I think I'm okay with going for a trip cap in certain cases, but in my opinion, you have to always contest that pit. It's a lot of times just a nade and an easy kill. I would much rather have pit than a side base.
Yeah, so all in all, they traded red base for the pit and blue base, and now they're going to have to fight back to try to get this pit area, especially with this overshield coming up here. It looks like they do have a decent job of trying to do so, but looks like Baby J takes Straysick to no seals, but Straysick at least able to get that pit area. Let's see if Ryan was able to secure this overshield. Looks like they're still waiting for this one, so that one is going to be pretty late, but Straysick some really nice shots, not able to get that melee onto Aries. Meanwhile, Cloud's over here going for the triple cap again, so potentially the 3rd triple cap in the game so far from Elite Four, and if they're able to get this one, they need to rack up more time than they have previously, because they've just been giving up the pit way too for free.
And this is the strategy that kind of, like, now called Optic, but formerly CLG Squad popularized, where they would hold all 3 bases. They would trap teams into tower and make them push out towards, you know, like blue closet, red closet, like either alley, and you can just get a good view of where they're headed towards and react accordingly. And so even during that time, it took Elevate that long to push over, take over blue, and look at, they lost 15, 16 points in the process.
Yeah, and even if you're not trapping everybody in security side, it's not bad to have security area, one guy there to lay down cover fire across the map and then have more people outside, but Cloud needs more help over here towards the pit. Here comes the outside push, so whoever's out in security needs to rotate immediately. They have 3 people down over there focusing on the pit, and that's not bad because Baby J's over here taking this side base. Baby J probably should be more focused on that pit area, but if he's able to actually win this 1v1, that'd be big. However, they do collapse on that, so Baby J trying to get in there. That amount of pressure, though, does open up the pit, so they sent 2 players over to him, and that was enough distraction, so a little bit of
That's
a
a
mistake.
worthwhile trade, as we said before. I will take the pit over a side base any day.
Yeah, for sure, and Ryan knew making his way over here towards the side base, because what you do is you go into those side bases, and that once you start distracting over there, that opens up the pit. If everyone's able to just sit up on top of the map and watch the pit, you're never going to be able to capture it, but they should be able to get this. They have the numbers. It looks like they are able to, so nice job, but they all die to that Randa grenade, so sick grenade coming out from him. They should be able to retake this pit. Another player misses their melee on. That's straight sick, missing his melee on to Randa, so Randa coming up big with a couple kills here, also making his way over towards the pit. Could he be the one to capture this for them? Also doing a nice job staying alive and not getting out as well and getting that back smack, so sick plays coming out from Randa, Dave.
Those are some game changers right there. Like, we've seen so many times, someone's in pit, they're half a second away from capping it, someone contests, and however that kill goes. And those are huge game changers. I like what Randa's doing, just keeps putting on this pressure. He takes on these
so confident
and keeping them spawning over at tower. Now, I'm not sure if this is a good or a bad play, pushing towards tower and potentially getting some sort of split spawn where someone can spawn at blue and get a capture there. But it looks like this Elevate squad are comfortable just collapsing, putting on tons of pressure.
Yeah, it's not bad because you can collapse from any which way, and they end up getting that reset too. So the triple cap, it's going to rack up a lot of points very quickly too. So if you're Elite 4, you got to be worried to stop the bleeding somehow, and they do capture that side base, which is good for them. Also getting that explosion barrel kill is going to be pretty nice as well. So it's a 2-on-2, and it looks like these guys are trying to take over the pit, but Renegade losing shots to Randa there. So Randa just playing so impressive so far, you know, and he was playing extremely confident. There was a time where he was fighting Cloud even before he made his way into that side base. He was only 1 shot, and Cloud was full shield, and he still challenged that. So he was even confident that he was going to be able to take him out of scope and still put more damage on him, even though he was 1 shot. And they're only going to have one more push here for the side of Elite 4 because they all just died. And as you said, Dave, they're just sitting there trapped inside of security.
Yeah, and that's such a tough position to be, is knowing how to push out either side. And a lot of times your kind of hand is exposed based on seeing the side bases, because what you can tell a lot of times right now, Ares and the Elevate crew are going to know how many players are over in red base based on how fast it's going down. So you can see, oh, there's 2 in there, I'm not going to go challenge that fight. Oh, if there's only 1 player in there, I can fight a 1-on-1 and hopefully get my base back.
And this is pretty much going to be game. Even though the other team is capturing blue base, it's not going to happen for them. That's going to be a temporary triple cap, and that's going to be game 1 going over to Elevate. And they really pulled away with that one towards the end. I mean, we saw so much trades of the pits going back and forth. You never really expect that, but I really got to give hats off to Randa, just the way he stayed alive in the pit and then got that back smack and then went in there and charged into Cloud. That was a real difference maker when he had just that spree of events.
Yes, yes. It just all chained together, and they just racked up so much time during that spree. The one moment that sticks out in my mind, too, though, is for some reason we saw all 4 members of Elite 4, Elite 4 in the pit, just diving on grenades, and it was fun and rough to see at the same time.
It was pretty funny.
Because sometimes, like, we commend that. We say, oh, that was such a great job of them to get the couple kills.
Well, the overshield guy was there,
and
though.
then get out. So
they ran into the overshield guy, which was Ares, too. But like you said, even that pit area was expanded, and it's still
tough.
It's still hard. You got to all filter in there, and you don't need more than 2. Okay, 3's a crowd. You definitely don't need 4. But it's nice to have 2 in there, and then you have guys that are in position to drop in there if one of the other guys dies. But
yeah, you want to be able to chain your presence in the pit as often as you can.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean everyone has to be in the exact same
shields.
time. It's like as soon as you know as the teammates gain shower, whatever, you drop in for that security, you help fight that, and your teammate dies. You kill another person, and you continue capturing it.
Yeah, and that was just a big turning event. Those 2 times, the thing that I mentioned, the thing that you mentioned, all having to do with the pit. That map's all about the pit. We didn't even see, besides Ares, anyone really utilize the overshield. It wasn't like any team had more
it wasn't
control
like
of
both
weapons
squads were going out there or
anyone.
anything.
Yeah.
It was odd.
It was good though. It was a good game, and the rest of the series should be, just as close. But unfortunately, for example, for Elite Four, the first game wasn't a CTF game, and we know that Rhinoob is a really great CTF player, and he's really ruthless with the objective. And Empire Strongholds is one of those game types that your individual skill is really important as well.
Yeah, the slaves kind of are a bit more prevalent there. I still think a lot of movements we saw from Rhinoob were brilliant. Like the very beginning play, just going towards
Charging
top center,
out.
contesting security, going down in the pit when he had a chance, and was literally a second or two away from getting the capture almost single-handedly. But I would agree. I would say he has more of an effect on CTF.
Yeah.
But the way I looked at the series was I thought Elite Four had to win all 3 objectives. That was my first thing going into this. I've been wrong multiple times today, so probably not surprised if I'm wrong again. But for me, that's just telling me that Elevate's are going to win the series. I think that they have a much better chance to win the Slayers, and they're showing that they can hang on Strongholds. And we do have a Strongholds Game 4 as well, if we do go to that.
Yeah, so we'll find out right now. It looks like the players are getting ready for this game 2, so we're going to hop in it as soon as it's ready. But you're predicting Elevate, and I think that, that's a good, solid prediction based on, what we saw yesterday, and also just based on the way that these guys are playing. Again, got to give Randa props. He is playing phenomenal today. He's been playing great all day. Been watching his stream and things like that too. It's going to be really up to someone on this other squad. Maybe it's the new addition, Renegade, to come up and go big in the Slayer.
Yes, someone has to step it up because what they're doing right now is not working. So we're going to kick it off with Randa from the Elevate squad. Game number 2, Coliseum Slayer.
Yeah, and Rhinoob hasn't ever really changed up his strat. You know that he's going to be top catwalk for sure, so that's something that you can take away there. It looks like they
Baby
did.
J knew it.
Baby J ended up getting a double kill to start. This is a really good, strong start coming out from Elevate. They pick up 3 kills, and also Randa has the sniper rifle, so let's find out where the spawns are. Also going to take that player to no shields. That's Cloud. So Cloud gets picked off, and now everybody's spawning at red. And oh man, a dream start coming out from Elevate.
5-0 right off the bat. They have control of the power weapons. They have control top snipe side, and it looks like Randa might even go for rocket side. This is a spot that I don't like snipe from, or I don't like when players snipe from top rocket side. I prefer you have just maybe your carbine player up there, or someone with a long range weapon. But yeah, I don't. Oh my God!
Stray Six scared Randa right off the map, and maybe Dave was talking about how you don't like that spot. So
yeah, that's why you don't like that spot. You can just fall
well,
right
she doesn't like it, then I'm not going to be here anymore. Like, geez, okay. But one of the things about Coliseum is that even though you're down a lot, you can always make those type of runs. That same type of run that Elevate put on these guys, they can easily do it right back to them. But it starts with controlling the weapons, and Baby J has the scatter shot.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that I'm okay with sitting on rocket corner side, but top rockets is not where I want to sit. So.
Yeah, and Baby J accidentally puts his scatter shot away when he had a player right in front of him. Aries is going to try to clean that player up. Tire Iron also working with him. That's going to be Rhinoob. So 2 players falling to the hands of Tire Iron. That make that 3. So Tire Iron getting a big triple kill. Maybe Straysick got embarrassed there. I'm not really sure what happened, but it seemed like Tire Iron obviously had to reload, or could have been weak after getting 2 kills. But impressive again start for these Elevate squad.
Yeah, and it just seems like they keep having Elite Four all just spawning the exact same spot, and they just collapse in every single time. It's always been nearly successful. Like, they at least get 2 or 3 of the kills. Cloudy right there doing a great job actually staying alive and not challenging. A lot of people get in this mindset where your team's on the defensive, you're on the back foot, they get in this challenge mindset saying, oh, I gotta kill them. I just have to challenge get this fight while I can. When in fact, a lot of times just buying time, staying alive, and allowing your opponent to actually make mistakes is gonna add up over time.
Here we have Randa waiting for the scatter shot, just baiting it, waiting for his time to grab it. Ends up picking that one up and is crouching over here towards the grass area. And this is a good
Grab
little...
those plasma grenades, man.
Oh, this is a good flank coming. He doesn't have any nades, so those nades have been pretty useful. But now he shows up on radar, and they have rockets on the side of Renegades. So here's the comeback coming here finally for these guys on Elite Four. This is their opportunity finally with the weapons. Only a 3-kill game, Dave.
Yeah, and they're right back in it, like you said. Sniper coming up very soon, 20 seconds. So this is obviously a pivotal moment, but not the most important minute in the game. I always reserve that for the 6-minute mark when both rockets and sniper are simultaneously coming up.
here come the Slays. Look at these guys. They're just collapsing so well on spawns. It started with Renegade getting those rockets. He really put those to work. Let's check the stats and see who's stepping it up. 7 and 5. As I was saying, is it going to be the new addition here to go big? And look at Straight Sick with the snipe.
Such a steady shot, man.
And this is what's scary about these guys. Renegade jumps off the map. So he was probably out of rockets. And oh, Straight Sick doesn't see that player. Aries getting the perfect shots on him. So I was just going to talk about how well off these guys are with the weapons, but Elevate comes in and
he's
shuts
out of
them
rockets,
down.
though. It showed it as a suicide. Like, it didn't even say, like, he, you know, a lot of times it would give the kill to somebody else from the shot. So he just straight up fell off the map somehow. This is a tough map to fall off, I'm going to kind of say. Like, I guess over on Pyramid side, it's sometimes, like, you might slip a little bit or whatever, but everywhere else, I can't really see falling off.
I want to say I've only fallen off this map, like, once or twice, and I think it was because I missed the clamber over there towards that pyramid area. But yeah, I mean, interesting to see people doing that on tournament day. Let's see if that comes back to bite them, because that is, you know, -1 kills going from Renegade's stat line. So
my gosh,
it is
Aries
currently a
just
1
got
kill game.
melted there with Sniper. We've seen Elite Four doing a great job actually taking time to realizing where power-ups are and just focusing their attention there.
Here's a big time plague for the Rockets. Let's see if they're able to secure this one. Tire Iron doing everything that he can to stay alive. Meanwhile, Ryan is chucking nades continuously. Randa with the scatter shot, though, that's going to take out Straight Sick and open up some of the map for Elevate to be able to possibly get these rockets. And that's going to be Aries grabbing those rockets, running over towards Red. Ryan, who finds himself fighting a couple players over there. If he can stay alive in the cave, that should be pretty big, though. But they should know that he's one shot and be chucking nades over there. He's going to elect to run out. So pretty good play coming out from Ryan. Let's see what he elects to do, because he's in pretty good position. However, everybody on the Red team does have the weapons. So map positioning going over to the side of Elite Four. However, all of the power weapons in the control, and you can see them putting it to work. Scatter shot and rocket kills in your kill feed.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to break, because obviously a lot of times you'd rather have the kill lead, but any time of the day, that's going to swing when you have power weapons. So we have to see, does anyone still have Sniper? Because I know we saw rockets and Scare Shot pushing towards Snipe side, but that was the last thing I haven't seen. I thought I saw Sniper over towards Red Rocket side when he no-scoped Ryan if we were on that render stream. So I just have no idea what we're at with Sniper. But either way, in 50 seconds, we will see Rockets and Sniper coming up at the same time. See which side teams prioritize, because I always have opted for Sniper side. I always feel like that's the more powerful side of the map. However, with the addition of those little tabs and the carbine over towards Rocket side, it's
left tab, red tab, blue tab.
It's added a whole new aspect to rocket side. It's made it more viable to actually stay up there, because it used to be just a sitting duck. It used to be like someone over top Snipe side versus someone top rocket side. Top Snipe side just take them out instantly. They have nowhere to hide.
Some would say you have to keep tabs on those rocket guys. Cheesy. But yeah, I mean, this game's been back and forth. It's only a 2-kill lead here for Elevate, and this one could go pretty much either way. One of the things that I want to point out, besides Aries falling off the map right there, which is actually pretty important because now it's all almost tied up, but Renegade had that really strong start. Now look, he's 7 and 12 after falling off the map, so not necessarily able to recover quite yet from that one, and the pressure amounting for Elevate, and look who's at the top of the stat line again. That's going to be Randa. So Tire Iron with the Sniper here up 2. If he's able to put in some serious work, that would be a big momentum boost. Going up 2-0 in the game would almost lock this series down.
Yeah, it's a huge moment, but at the same time, I guess I've still been pretty surprised, because I felt like for the most part that we've seen Sniper and power weapons in the hands of Elevate. However, it's only a 3-kill difference. Like, that's not very significant for having the Sniper 75% of the game.
Well, they did have their one run. Elite Four did when Renegade got those rockets, and those were a majority of his kills. I think he got 3 or 4 rocket kills and only has 7 total. So
I must be underestimating how much time Elite Four has actually had power weapons. That's probably just a miscalculation.
They were just able to get kills pretty quickly with them, so it didn't seem like they had them very long. But like you said, it's still a really close game, and considering that they haven't had really the Sniper in their hand that much, besides when Straight Sick had it for just a moment, they've been able to keep this one fairly close. So this is a really good opportunity for them to possibly steal one here from Elevate.
Yeah, now if you're Tire Iron right now, where would you be sniping?
He's in a good spot. I would stay on the flag. Yeah, now I would rotate towards the elbow. He needs to get that guy out of there. Now I would be running towards the other base. but he has his teammate here, so it looks like they're going to clean this out instead. But I already been towards snipe side, running towards red snipe street.
Yeah, you would have bailed a long time
I would
ago.
have bailed, but this isn't a bad play either. As you can see, they have no idea that he's even doubling back. So I like that he decided to conserve his shot there. Gets that body shot onto Aries, but still, it's only a 2-kill game. Rocket's coming up in 30 seconds, and this is going to be a really big 1v1 going up against Straight Six. So yeah, he needs to get out of there. Ooh, nice shot onto Ryanoob. The nade's flying in, though. He does have support here from Aries. 3-kill game. Everyone's stuck, though, at blue. If they were to collapse here on the side of Elite Four, this could get ugly. You know, Straight Six wants that sniper in his hand. Unfortunately for Tyron, has to reload. And 45 to 44, just how big are those people falling off the map at this point?
Yeah, that's a huge point, but also at the same time, we've seen the sniper in the hands of Tyron and the Elevate squad, yet they're going down in kills. What are they doing wrong here? Because right there, they had a 2-kill lead.
Too conservative.
And yeah, I guess it's too conservative or not knowing when to pull the pistol.
Also, Ryanoob with the rockets, too. He's been slowly but surely getting a couple kills.
Like those just got picked up at like that 4-minute mark recently, so.
Yeah, the last ones, too.
Gotcha. All right, so those just kind of added up. And
they've been even the score out, yeah. So they are going to possibly be able to steal this one. It's 48 to 46. Whoa, big scatter shot kill coming out from Aries. Straight Sick could have definitely got the trade on that one. Everyone looking to clean him up, though. Everyone's flying out bottom center. 48 to 48. Watch out for those splinter nades. 2 people falling bottom center. Here it is. It's going to be a little standoff here. And again, Ryan with the rockets. Is he able to get a kill? No. Takes that player, no shields. Randa gets him with the grenade. Ryanoob does not get the kill and instead gives one over. Now everybody is going to slowly collapse. It's 49 to 49. Is Baby J going to try to clutch it? Someone else does. Tire Iron does. That's game 50 to 49.
50-49 game, and we've had people fall off at certain points, just suicides, some
Renegade
some
falling off the
deaths,
map.
yeah.
Costing them big time. I mean, yeah, Aries returned the favor, but wow,
I
that's
did not
crazy.
see the very last kill, but up until those other parts, you saw Elite Four kind of panic, try to get that that kill on Baby J bomb center, or not Baby J.
Ryanoob missing that rocket was pretty big too, and the fact that he ran away and still died and didn't follow it up and just try to trade kills was pretty game changing.
He had a rocket.
If he would
He
have got
had
that
the
kill, they
element
would
of
have won.
surprise in the case. Like he could have just sat there. He saw somebody walking up from from under like snipe yard, maybe peeked over. But that's it for you. We got 2-0 lead for Elevate now, as you can see on your screen. Elevate won 100 to 88 on Empire Strongholds, 150-49 on Coliseum Slayer. What you just saw there, and the potential third and final game, if they close it out here, would be Secret Flag.
Yeah, and when you're down 2-0 after, or down 0-2, however you want to look at it, losing 50 to 49, that is just
That's
big,
rough.
Just so much wind just taken out of your sail. It's rough, and it's going to be really hard to bounce back from. Again, it comes down to a really good start. Just imagine if they didn't have to climb uphill that entire time. They did a fantastic job coming back. They were, you know, what was it, 8-0 to start.
I was most impressed with Elite Four when we saw Elevate with Sniper. It just seemed like they mitigated their loss quite a bit. It's not like they got off to like some huge loss when Elevate would have
They didn't
snipe.
give up any
would,
stupid deaths.
Yeah, they wouldn't give up any easy snipes. Like the snipes that they had to hit, like Tyron had to hit an amazing shot from window up to like snipe bridge through like a small little crack. So they had to hit very tough shots with snipe.
Yeah, and Tyron, he was doing good with that snipe, and then when we saw him kind of get pressured, he wasn't hitting the shots. So, you know, again, Elevate did win the game, but like you were saying, the other team, Elite Four, did a good job of not giving up any of those dumb deaths, and that's something to take away, you know, going into this next game. But it's going to be so hard for them.
It's a huge uphill battle.
It's pretty much they have like a 10% chance of. I don't want to say it's quite over yet, but we've seen some crazy things in Halo 5. Don't get me wrong. But again, I really look back to the beginning strategy there. They didn't do much to start the game. Ryanoob has been doing the same beginning strat in Coliseum for quite some time now. He does the
He
jump.
got caught off with grenades right off the bat. And
Yeah,
Baby J
gets that double kill.
And they were off to what, a 5-0 lead?
Yeah, I think it was 8-0 eventually.
8-0?
Yeah, and they had all of the weapons, you know, and ended up losing them. But
Randy was like, all right, we're too far ahead. I should just jump the sniper off to make it a bit more
yeah,
fair
make
of
it a little
match."
bit more even, stuff like that. Make it a little bit more entertaining for you guys at home. But we're getting into game 3. Stasis, CTF, Rockets, top center, Overshield, bottom center. And it's one of those maps where it takes a while to run that flag. It takes, you know, a good 10, 15 seconds to get it from one base to another. So
it's more worthwhile, I think, to take some of those safer routes. There's plenty of times where we've seen in past, like, other symmetrical maps where you just want to run right down the middle. Like, all right, take it right down bottom middle. It's a little quicker. This one, I think it's worth taking your time and going down one of the sides, going shoddy or Hydra side, or
and
even going
slaying
towards
while you're
top
doing
center.
it. Sometimes you got to just toss it
You gotta
out
get
halfway,
everyone. Yeah.
get the slays while you're doing it, and yeah. So, all right, let's see. Who's going to start this one off? Let's go with Baby J. Someone from that Elevate squad. Keep in mind that they are up 2-0 in the series, as you can see at the top of your screen. And this map is all about getting those rockets, because once you get those rockets, you can really secure that overshield. And this is what we needed to see coming out from the side of Elite Four. Grabbing control, or even pulling a flag already. Ryan Noob has these rockets. Let's see if he's able to get a double. He is. Takes the Hydra player out. There's another player below him. He's looking for the triple. He's just going to leave that guy. They should be able to just secure this one.
He's like, all right, guess what? I'll just reload my rockets and I'll kill you 10 seconds later. So it's your choice of when you want to die.
Oh,
and
nice moves, though.
Juke, though. What a juke.
Yeah, and he has to waste this rocket, so he's just going to throw that one up into the air and just rocket the sky instead. He's no shields. Looks like he's able to live, though, so a little bit of miscommunication coming out. You know, one of the things about this game type is you don't have really specific callouts like you do for the other game types quite yet. You know, when you think about a map like Plaza, you just call every little area, you know, something specific. And in this map, you don't have specific callouts except for, you know, like top rockets or bottom center, or, you know, bottom Hydra or top Hydra. So that was a little spot there that Ryan was hiding in, that Randa couldn't necessarily communicate exactly where Ryan was.
Couldn't say like, oh, in front of Hydra by that box.
Box,
right
box number
there.
20, box number 20.
But that's one of the things that as the game goes on, or as teams talk more, they will come up with the names of the exact same spots. Like, all right, he's in the Ryan Noob spot, or he's in Hydra box, or whatever it happens to be. Like very, like those spots are used over and over again.
Yeah.
Like those little corners are hidden. Come up with names for all
Like
the
the
time.
Chig in Halo 3.
Yep.
He's, who sits there? Chig? Who sits in the middle of the map in Construct King of the Hill? Chig does. And that's why they call it the Chig, or the Eli, or the Gandhi.
Yep.
Or where's the Walsh?
I think I have a couple named spots. Like one was in Pit over, kind of hiding by that little ramp. We were landing against Carbon one time, and every single time they'd have like 3 of us down, getting ready to pull a flag. They bring it out, and I kill the flag guy, and it was like, he's over in that ramp.
He's in
and
the Walsh.
Yep.
Ah, I know that ramp. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That little hiding spot. Okay, that was the Walsh. Oh, man.
I think there was one in Sank that I always do a lot. Like
Triple kill coming out from Randa. Nice job by Randa. Oh, remember the bonfire? In,
Yep, Bond.
Sanctuary, the Bond. A little throwback there. Shout out to Bonfire and Hissing Inferno, and It Was Luck. That was a squad back then.
they were a squad to be reckoned with. Yeah, man. Like I always had fun lands at their place too. They had a nice house.
They did.
They had a little arcade in their thing. Kind of was like a free like TLN sort of time.
It was good times. Anyway, so 1-0 here, and it looks like, you know, finally we're seeing some life out here from Elite Four, mainly because of that strong start, but looks like Elevate is going to probably be able to put this flag capture in unless Renegade pulls something crazy out, but there goes the return. That flag is a little bit far, though.
Miscommunication, I guess. I don't disagree with
It's
Baby
a Baby J play.
Yeah, regardless, I don't disagree with it because he wanted to go over there, make sure they secure that recovery, and he was pretty certain that Hydra side was safe. He had teammate spawn over there, but it seems like he could have had a teammate do that a bit more efficiently.
Renegade doesn't even put up any sort of fight going up against Baby J, trying to sneak in for the flank here. And yeah, it looks like another flag is being ran at the same time too. So this is pretty good positioning here from Baby J. Also has the DMR, which does a decent amount of damage, as you can see onto Ryan. Good shots again coming out from Baby J. Is he going to be able to take out Cloud? At least takes him to no shields, but 3 of his teammates dying. Now here's the opportunity coming out for Elite Four. See if they're able to capitalize.
Yeah, not only are they running this flag pack right now, or they were about to get that pull, rockets coming up, 15 seconds. It can almost be a near guaranteed cap when you get those because it's just so easy. Once you're actually top center with rockets, there are very few avenues you can take to actually take it back. You have to somehow get like a flank all the way towards opposing side to go towards top center where it happens to be. Like you have to pull off a really good play to be in a great position in order to actually take over the rocket guy.
Straight Sick looking to find out who has the rockets on the side of Elevate, ends up getting that kill onto Randa, and then immediately rotates down towards the overshield. Looks like Baby J is also dropped, but looks like more players here for the side of Elite Four have been down there waiting for it. So that's going to be Ryu grabbing that one around the 43 area. And you know what's big about that is no one on the side of Elevate even had eyes on that. They're just going to be guessing. So even though not able to really do much with that overshield, at least they have the time for the next one.
And here those rockets in action, trying to take down the red stairs. I believe that's Brandon there in great position, getting Renegade down to 0 shield as, forced them to actually hit a really good rocket shot, or at least while he was jumping up in the air. So I like that Randa made that tougher kill than it was.
Here's what's so tough about this map too, and like you're right, that's the result of Randa making that a tough kill, but they get the split spawns, and you have to immediately be on the spawns, and if this guy lives a little bit longer like he is now they've already spawned on the other side and have started sprinting to your base, as you can see what Baby J's doing.
Yes, and that's the toughest part about this is there's so many times you can kill all three, and it's like that last person alive can sometimes get that stop, get that recovery, and that wasn't the case here because we do see that second flag put in by Elite Four, but Ares is going to try to even it up, running this flag towards Hydra side, and eventually taken down.
Yeah, that was a good run coming out from Ares. He was moving pretty quickly, but just not enough support coming in from his teammates, and it looks like that one's going to easily be returned. And finally, Elite Four putting together a pretty solid map here. Ryan, who ends up betraying his teammate, so unfortunate for him, but the games
Do you think
were
he
close.
admitted it?
No.
That's happened some games. Like, I'll always be like, dude, my bad, I need you. There's so many
I'd much
times
rather
I see
have someone tell me when they need it, because I know they did it.
honesty is
so.
the best policy, yeah.
Yeah, so I know that they did it, and I'm just like looking for, all right, we're cool.
Just fess up to it, man.
Yeah,
I know one of you did it.
We're even. But
Don't make me go through the theater. I will do it.
yeah, one of the people that always wants to know who needs him is Kyle. So he's always worried about that. But that's one of the things on the old straight team. We used to always nade each other by accident, sometimes on purpose. Depends on how pissed we were at each other. But yeah, big overshield coming up. Keep in mind, the last one was picked up at 43, and Ryan was the person that grabbed that, so he does have the time. He's rotated down there with the rockets, as we were saying. That's the best strategy. Let's see if they're able to burn this one. Looks like they were able to.
I had no idea what happened there. I wasn't going to try to cast that. That was just a dog pile there, bottom center. Literally 3 people trying to grab overshield at the exact same time, and
yeah,
one of them burned it.
I'm surprised that they actually had a time on that for the side of Elevate. Most likely because Baby J had the death screen and maybe rotated his death screen to see exactly when they picked it
Yeah,
up.
that had to be that. I didn't consider it because he definitely was jumping on that spot at the exact same time, holding down the pickup. So you're not going to do that unless you have the exact timing.
Ooh, nice shots from Baby J. That was a really good opportunity for Ryan to actually get this capture, but looks like they're going to be able to collapse, and I don't think that Elevate's going to be able to get this flag. But if Baby J didn't get that kill onto Ryan, that was looking like a third and final flag cap coming out from Elite Four. But looks like Ares is trying to do his best Ryan Noob impersonation and just making his way straight for the flag here. Not a bad play.
Yeah, I don't disagree with this, but one problem right now, though, is Ares has left his teammates in a 3-on-4 sort of situation, and Ares just got picked up immediately. So one of the benefits of actually having a flank on somebody is you should have the jump on the opponent, not the other way around. So if there are players out there that are trying to get better at flanking, trying to get better at doing some sort of like counter pulls, one thing you might want to keep in mind is when you're pushing the opponent's base, if they haven't pulled your flag yet, go for some sort of damage, go for some sort of kill first, and then pull and run the flag.
Yeah, and you can obviously tell when someone pulls your flag because he goes,
Flag pulled. Here's that. Yeah, there's one of
there's
2
a
or 3
giant
spots it's
icon
gonna be.
over your head. But this is looking like possibly the third and final flag cap coming out from Elite Four, and that's going to be
Wow.
it. So that's going to be Stasis flag going over to these guys, and we have a series on our hands now. It's 2-1, and we're moving into, I think, Plaza Strongholds. Or no, I think is it going to be Rig? I can't remember.
I think we gotta double check. I think
Maybe it's flag. I don't know. I'm losing it up
it's
here.
definitely a Strongholds one, but I don't remember which one.
Yeah,
so
but
we'll find out in a little bit. But regardless, you kind of called it earlier in the match, saying how much stronger like Ryan Noob and the Elite Four squad are at CTF, and they proved it there on Stasis. But
yeah, exactly.
Rig Strongholds is game number 4 coming up next.
Yeah, so Rig Strongholds, and then that goes to Regret Slayers. So actually, these are good game types now for when you're down 2-1 in the series, because they're both game types that are very momentum based, and they're very heavy on setting up, especially Regret Slayer. And if you are down 2-0 in the series and you've won the last 2 games, you have huge momentum going in. But looking at the Rig Strongholds, it's just one of those game types, again, that if you have really solid slaying power coming out from Straight Sick, Renegade, Cloud, all guys that really like to just hold positions and lock it down, that's the perfect map for them on the Rig compared to, say, like Empire, where it takes a lot more hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, it's more like, all right, do I push over to red base right now? Do I go to pit? You have very far fewer decisions to make.
Right.
It's just like, oh, go here, and if you get the kills, you're in great shape.
Yeah, exactly. So this one's going to be underway here pretty soon, but it's not over yet today. We thought
Definitely
that was
not.
going to be a 3-0, but these guys aren't giving up. It really started in the beginning of that game. As we were saying, they really need to have a strong beginning strategy. Ryan grabbing those rockets. They were on top of the overshields. I don't think I ever can recall a time that Elevate actually had an overshield in their hands. Maybe they burned it a couple times when we saw Ares down there bottom center when there was that chaos, but I can't ever recall.
I can't think of any time where they had OS as well. It was mostly contested from the Elevate side, without a doubt, or I mean from the Elite Four side. And we also, I'm pretty sure we saw Rockets more so in Elite Four hand as well. Like
They had a lot
Ryan
of
had
control.
them a lot of times, but we also saw a couple times where Ryan made a massive mistake, like that one
Yeah.
time dropping down, getting juked.
Yeah, well, that was a good move from Baby J, but
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with the way that he's playing so far. But looks like we are getting into the next game, so we're going to be getting underway on the Rig Strongholds. All right, Dave, predictions.
Predictions. Ooh. I mean, I'm gonna take a easy answer, or I'll just go from the past and say, well, we saw Elevate. They won the first Strongholds game, so
Okay.
probably gonna win the second one.
Score, though. What's the score?
Score.
Exact score.
Exact score on Rigs. Rig can, like you said, it can be a very momentum-based one where you can actually have some sort of blowout. So I'm gonna say like 100 to 66 in favor of
I'm
Elevate.
going to go 100 to 75. for
Okay, I thought you were
Elite
gonna do
Four.
like Price is Right rules.
No,
like
no,
100,
not
167.
No, not Price is Right rules. No, no. $1. All right, so let's kick this one off with Ryan Noob and see what he's going to do in the beginning. Typically, blue team wants to try to capture that nest area and also get that basement immediately, but he's adding a little bit of pressure, and they don't double cap either one yet. It looks like they're just single capping nests, and no one's going to capture that basement area, so a little bit of misplay coming up from the blue side, in my opinion, and that's going to allow BR base
It's
to be
definitely the
taken.
team strat, though, for sure. Like, obviously, they decided we're going to send all 4 members towards Engine 2, or they're going to send them towards top tower and just try to get control of the map first and then go back for basement later, and it backfired heavily.
Yeah, it did, and they do have control of the nest, which is really good for them, and they're going to be grabbing this BR as well. Now, everyone's going to be flooding in this open field and mid-bridge area from the side of Elevate, so it's really important for Cloud to get some extra help here, or they need to just like be adding pressure and say, screw BR base, let's go and take basement here. It just depends on what their actual setup is and what they want to do.
Yeah, they have to execute together, but I would agree with you that I think I would like to have basement side more, so wouldn't you? Like, you prefer to have basement and nest?
Basement and nest are the ideal setup because you can just sit back and you just wait for them to come from this area, which Straight Sick has to come from right now, and it's pretty difficult. You have to have a very coordinated push. Looks like Renegade's gonna try to get this reset. Oh, Tire Iron ends up capturing that. So nice job for Tire Iron. Now this is the ideal setup as we were talking about. All you have to do is just back off here. You don't even have to add pressure unless you get the picks, and typically when you get the picks, you can see people flooding over there and just keeping them stuck over there. And then you rotate the spawns once you know that they're there, because then they have to get in the strongholds. It even shows when they're getting in it.
Yeah, one thing I was always against before was going towards basement and giving up this outside sort of setup. But it seems like all these other top teams seem to be doing it more, so there must be something flawed in what I'm thinking, or I must need to talk to some of these top players and top teams to understand more so why you want to flip that, because the way I look at it is a lot of times if you go towards BR and try to get that hill when you have both outside, you're going to spawn your opponents outside, and I feel like that's where your opponents want to be, so you're almost doing work for them. So I guess there must be some small part that I don't understand that yet, and I need to do a little bit more research.
The triple cap in this game type isn't as powerful. I mean, a triple cap in any game type is pretty powerful, but it's not nearly as powerful as Eden or Plaza. It's probably the least desirable triple cap out of the Strongholds maps. But yeah, I mean, it's fine just holding 2 here. It's almost as good. You're not racking up the points, you're not putting as much pressure, but for the most part, if you have 3 and they're capturing BR, they're most likely going to get it unless you have like the railgun, for example, which Ares has right now, or you have camo or some sort of like really positional advantage, or even a heavy numbers advantage. So let's see if Ares is able to get the kills here. That shotgun doesn't do enough damage, so he ends up throwing away 2 guns, the railgun and the shotgun, going over to Renegade. Let's see if Ryan Noob and squad are able to capitalize. We have a couple players here for Elevate going towards the nest. Are they going to be able to contest this? They're all filtering into the same thing. Sick nade coming from Ares, and that's what we're talking about. These guys love to sit next to each other. I'm not sure what they're thinking, but
yeah, that's the second time we've
they
seen
love to cuddle.
3 of them, yeah, 3 of them cuddling, and we might see it again here in just 1 second over towards BR side.
Yeah, they're pretty cute together, but they need to spread out and cover parts of the map.
Who do you think's Big Spoon and Little Spoon in that relation?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but we should ask them a little bit later. But Aries moving around very confidently. These guys are only 1 game away from walking away with this. Landing some shotgun shots.
Aries.
Also switching over to his pistol. Ooh, even challenging.
I was wondering. I was like, did he really want to challenge there? He got saved quite a bit, but I'm surprised he challenged that.
Interestingly enough, Cloud's over there able to capture the nest by himself. That was a really good opportunity for a triple cap, but like you're saying, they don't really need to go over here and contest this BR area.
We've seen a lot of unorthodox setups here. Like, we've seen plenty of times where someone's holding nest and BR setup. We see someone now holding basement and BR, and it's like, what happened to the old basement nest setup? What was wrong with that?
That was a big mistake. You don't need to go and contest there. You need to say, okay, well, they need to allocate resources to that side of the map, so we need to go for the nest.
Yeah, I agree with you wholly, but it's just I've seen like the first few minutes of this game, it just seems like we haven't seen much of basement/nest setup, which I'm used to seeing, especially throughout the entire first season of this game.
Well, it looks like Elevate's going to be able to grab that right now, unless they're able to get that player out from the overpass. There it is. So now the ideal setup coming in. It's up to Baby J to really stay alive here. Everyone dying on Elevate's side. Also, Renegade making his way towards that basement. Last player alive, Aries with the shotgun on Elevate's side. Is he able to get that kill on a Renegade? Would be big to get that out of his hands, but he's not able to. Here comes the double cap over there in the basement now. Looks like advantage going over to the side of Elite Four. Keep in mind that they won that last game, and now they're down 2-1 in this series, trying to fight back and make this one go to a game 5.
Yeah, dude, there's no way it's going to be 166. At this pace, these teams are so neck and neck that it's going to be another close final game, so my prediction's got to be wrong for sure.
And this is a really prime position for these guys to be in, because Renegade only has 1 shot left in this railgun, but he's in the ideal position to have that railgun. Doesn't need to waste it. I don't know if I agree with that play. Nonetheless, going on a killing spree, really good sign. This is actually a good time to add that pressure there, but Cloud can't do it by himself, and you don't need to add pressure and say, we have to go all the way in there. You just add pressure like Renegade's doing.
I like that pressure right there, yeah. That was perfect.
Just add that midway pressure. You just sit there in that Whitehall area, and you just sit there on that snipe area, and they're stuck over there, and they have to walk up towards the railgun, so you're just laying down the shots on those guys as they make their way, and then you just fall back here, and you have that safety blanket knowing that they have to make their way over towards that nest area eventually, which Elevate's doing.
Yeah, I like that, where they just put a little bit of pressure, said anyone, basically any members of Elevate that pushed out in horrible positioning, like out towards BR side or just carelessly walking over towards top tower, they can get that quick kill, just push right back, and it's like, oh, guess what? We're putting a little bit of pressure. They weren't fully committed to try and get towards BR base. They just got a couple kills and slowed down their next push.
Nice play coming out from Renegade.
Wow.
He's on a killing frenzy, and he's been a big difference maker here so far. Looks like they are trying to put pressure on this basement at the same time. Randa with the shotgun is going to end that spree, and interestingly enough, they do capture the BR base, but they give up that ideal setup over to Elevate, which is the nest in the basement. So now the Slay is going to have to come in from the side of Elite Four to retake control. Looks like they're going to elect towards a basement push, but they're not really on the same page because they have a couple players over there towards the nest area. Can't split up 2-2 here. Need to make sure that everyone goes together, but nice shots coming out from Straight Stick on a tire iron. Now that's the opportunity that they need. They're in the basement, they're in the nest. All the players are going to be going into the BR base here for Elevate, and Elevate's only going to have about 3 pushes here in order to retake control if Elite Four is able to control this.
Yeah, and I like that pressure that Straight Stick was putting on towards the BR base side. It was, there's no reason not to just poke out, do a little damage before they actually make the good push. Perfect flank right here going around Whitehall. Get a kill, and that should be a good stop towards their push, but we're going to see what Straight Stick does here towards the basement.
They let them spawn barrels.
Members.
They let them spawn barrels, so Straight Stick was the only member to rotate and watch that carbine spawn where the battle rifle spawns now, but no one was watching that barrel side of the map, which means Renegades now has to go over here and use his SMG to pick up a double kill, try to go huge. He does get that reset, so big reset. Here's another player over in the barrels. That's Randa. Randa's been going big all day. Let's see if he's able to take out the player with the SMG with only the assault rifle. Randa backs Renegade down, but Renegade doesn't care because they're still scoring points, so he's just going to get his shields and regroup. Meanwhile, Randa has to wait for his teammates to come back as well.
And I like this placement by, or this positioning by Renegade, just continually challenging towards this tower as well. So one thing we saw when Straight Stick allowed the opposing team to spawn at barrels is that he decided to go towards Whitehall, never went towards tower, and left that area completely open, where it seems like Renegade is a bit more cognizant of holding down that and blocking those spawns.
Now this is a smart play from Cloud, but Ares counters that play. I like that Cloud had the idea that they have to go for the nest, so maybe I should go for the basement area, but Ares knew that was coming, and now a little bit of scrambling coming out from the side of Elite Four. A couple slays going in their favor, though. That's going to open up the map for Ryan after Ryan did a great job staying alive. Let's see if they're able to get that nest. The trade going over, so that's 3 players dead now. The spawn's over at the BR base, so now everyone on Elevate put in an awkward situation. Do we stop these guys or do we get them out of the BR? Looks like they're going to go for the BR play instead, but they're only going to have 1 push because once they get this, it's going to be 8 points for Elite Four to walk away with this one and push it to a game 5.
Elite Four all just separated there at the end. I'm not sure if that was the correct play or not because we saw Ryan go basement, we saw 1 player in nest, and we saw Straight Sick challenging BR base, and everyone kind of doing their own thing, which
Worked
can
out.
work if everyone's on the same page and knowing where you're going to collapse back in. Straight Sick going for this trip cap, but at the risk of losing basement and spawning the opposing team at barrels.
Wow, that was risky. I mean, if you didn't have a teammate there, and they could have potentially got that at around the 99 mark. So big plays coming out in 32 kills coming out from Renegade. Is that real? The rest of his teammates had 13, 12, 14.
Yeah, they had 39 kills
insane.
total, the rest of his
That's
team.
insane. He had 32 kills. That's crazy. Renegade, what did you eat this morning for breakfast? Are you serious? That's an insane performance, you know?
A lot of it too was that
and that
great
game was
position we saw.
fast.
Like, yeah, he had that killing spree, but there's so many other times where it just seemed like he'd go towards barrel side, get up top, get towards top tower,
Yeah.
get an easy pick, rotate back. So he was catching a lot of members off guard off the Elevate.
That's the type of game that'll really get your teammates pumped up going into game 5. I mean, you were down 2-0 in the series. Now it's going, it's tied up 2-2. You just dropped a 30 bomb in a plaza or in a stronghold on the rig game. Like that's an unheard of ridiculous amount of kills for how fast that game was. I mean, I wonder how many kills a minute he was picking up because that game was only like
Yeah, I think
8 minutes
strongholds on
long.
average last around like 8 minutes or so
Yeah.
because it's
He's
so
like-
well designed because game always ends. So there's
Literally
3
going on a
infinite
killing
caps.
spree like every single minute. That's really impressive. But if you're Elevate, you got to be shaking in your boots a little bit and biting your nails or whatever you do when you're stressed out because it's not looking good. They've played these guys really well the first 2 games. They've been playing well all day, and then all of a sudden Elite Four turns on the switch and take it to another level.
Yeah, 2 games in a row. Why not make it 3?
Yeah, let's do it. So we're moving into Regret Slayer, and again, keep in mind that it's another snowbally map. We saw a lot of back and forth in that rig. It did get a little out of control though. Eventually, we saw Elite Four able to just secure control for a while and rack up some points there towards the end. But Regret is one of those maps that you can't afford to have a bad start, especially in game 5.
No, yeah, you get on the back foot and you just get spawn trapped after spawn trap. And I would say, I think that Regret is probably the most snowbally Team Slayer map there is.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess it could be different based on Optic Gaming on Rig Slayer are a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
They know how to play that, but they're one of the few teams that can, I feel like, execute it perfectly.
Ooh,
Whereas Regret, we've seen plenty of times 2 evenly matched squads, and one of them just gets a great start, holds on to it the entire time, and gets a stake.
That's right, and it's gonna be scary for Elevate if they're not able to lock down these overshields. Again, the slaying power is just stronger coming out from these guys on Elite Four already. Someone's gonna have to step up. Someone's gonna have to be. Is it gonna be Randa? Is it gonna be Ares, Tyarn? Who's gonna go big here for Elevate? Who's gonna rally these guys and put the last 2 games behind them because they're gonna need some sort of emotional boost after what's happened to them the last couple games.
Yeah. So, Regret Slayer, what's your starting strat on this one?
Well, there's a couple different things that you can do. One of the most important things is obviously getting the overshield. So you need at least a minimum of 2 people down there.
I agree with that.
And then probably just sending 2 people top center to do the jump right from under the base onto the bridge to put some pressure top center. Try to get the splinter grenades top center. Try to just focus on anybody coming out. Try to maybe grab the green gun and just lock down car side. So it really comes down to just at least burning the overshield or making them burn it and
Yeah,
just
that first
making you
OS
get
is
top center.
usually burned, it feels like.
Yeah.
If someone gets a little antsy, he's like, I'm just going to run and go for it.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to be getting into the game here pretty shortly. It's not letting us spectate quite yet, but
So your prediction was
what was
closest
the
last
score?
game.
What was the score last
It
game?
was
Did I say 100 to 75? And what
You
was
said 175, and
Was it 100 to 75?
was it?
I don't know.
I think it was.
I don't know.
Someone in the chat will have to let us know, but I'm
It
pretty
was
sure
100 to 76.
So price is right rules.
Oh,
You're over, so it doesn't matter.
no, come on. No, I'm under.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
under by
Shoot.
1. I
Dang
win
it.
both. I win
You
both
win both
prizes.
situations.
I do.
Mine was also the worst of the situation because I had Elevate winning that series.
You did. You did. So you go home completely empty-handed. But yeah, I mean, game 5, obviously momentum heavily in favor of the team that was down 0-2 in the series and now has won the last 2 games, which is Elite Four. So you have, in my opinion, you have to give it to them. You have to pick Elevate though because you've been going with Elevate the entire series.
I have.
So let's hear your
basically
prediction.
I said Elevate. They had to take an objective game, and then they would win the Slayers. So they've taken the first objective game. They've won game number 2, Coliseum Slayer. Here we are, game 5, Regret Slayer. Even though Regret is a
you could be in
Cast
single
little-
digits with the wrong, with the amount of wrong calls here if you get this one right. So what's the score you're going to go with?
Oh, I am horrible predicting these, but I'll say let's go with 50 to 43.
50
Elevate.
to 43, Elevate. All right.
What about you?
I'm going to go with the same score, but for the other team.
All right. So
Does that count? Can I steal your score?
You can do that.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
All right. Good. We're writing the rules as we're going on, guys, just so you know. But a little bit of a spectate error won't let us in quite yet, so going to get in there as soon as we can. But, you know, the main thing is strategy-wise, obviously, just like in any map, you want to try to hold the top terrain and things like that. But retaking control, that's what one of the things we're talking about is best case scenario and worst case scenario. Now, best case scenario, in my opinion, for this game type would be you obviously have one guy top center, and then you have a guy car side. You can have 2 guys car side even, and then another guy as a roamer that kind of runs around. He can be P2. He could be one of the guys that collapses into the base or something like that, maybe from P side or from top center and charges in. And then pretty much from that, you just rotate, you know, back and forth.
Yeah, you just go back to red base, kill them all. Go to blue base, kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with top center having a couple of players there because they just have the options. Like you said, if you want to collapse in from car and front of the base, if you want to collapse in from car and pink, you can pretty much sprint there pretty quickly from top center.
Yeah.
To different spots. So
And when
top center, you're not committed to just one area.
And when you retake control in this game type, you know, obviously going car side is the best thing. So what you do is you want to send out probably 2 guys car side. But one of the really common strategies that you'll see as well is people will sprint from under the base, either right to bottom center into the other base. You know, something like midship we would see.
Yeah, like that flank and just
yeah.
at least divert attention because at some point, when your team all gets trapped in one base, it's either a matter of someone sneaking out or when they collapse in and kill, one person just has to stay alive at the base.
Mm-hmm. So it's not letting me spectate. I really just want to join the game and troll them and just be like, hey guys, I'm watching, but I'm actually playing too. But yeah, so hopefully it lets us
Should we
get
just restart the box or something just in case?
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I don't know.
I mean, at this point, it's if they've started the game, it's our best chance. So I think we should restart the box and just try to do that while we just talk about old Halo memories.
We can do that. Let's. All right.
Well, yeah, I would say the most memorable Regret Slayer I can think of has to be the X
lethal
Games.
regret. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Games.
it's just fitting, right? It has to be.
That was the last tournament that Lethal and CLG squad have lost. The now Optic squad.
Now Optic, and then crazy to see them lose to EG.
It's gonna make it for an interesting series. Like
Yeah.
this season of HCS is just gonna be great. We have obviously Pro League casted by you and Kyle, and you guys have been killing it. We now have this open circuit hosted by PGL where you get to come out to Vegas, and I'll be doing a few remote casts from time to time, and we get to see up and comers who's gonna be fighting for relegation and kind of scout these players ahead of time. It's just gonna be a great season all around. But yeah, that whole EG versus Optic Gaming match where EG took it, and I wouldn't say I counted them out, but I would say they definitely weren't as polished. They don't have the time in with that exact roster with Ninja and Victory, but they just seem to be gelling right away.
Well, keep in mind that C9 was the squad that played CLG best in the finals there for the summer finals for HCS Pro League, and they have 2 players, you know, from that team. They have Victory X and Ninja, and then what was the other 2 players? I think it was Commonly and Penguin. So now those players, you know, on Team Liquid now, and then you have Victory X meeting up with his old, you know, buddies. You have Lunchbox and Roy. who are another team that also played CLG really, really well. So both of these guys are experienced. All of these players have experience and know how that team plays, and that's the key. Is when you take down a really good team, think about the top teams for such a long time. You think about your team, Final Boss. You think about the Straight Rippin' team, the Carbon team. We all had very distinct, unique play styles that were very hard to figure out if you didn't scrim or play against them very often.
Yeah.
And you would it would take a while to figure them out. And once you would figure them out, whether that was beginning strats or, just overall strategies, you would slowly start to find your way and start winning some of the games that you wouldn't typically win because you have that experience. And I think that that's what we're starting to see now.
Good, yeah, because I want to see some teams try to contest this Optic Gaming squad. I'm a fan of dynasties in certain times, but nothing beats a rivalry. Nothing beats it when it's not the guaranteed victory for some squad. So some people talk about memories of like when Straight Rippin' or when Final Boss were dominant. Like, oh, I love those days. I was like, truthfully, I think as a spectator, probably like sometime around like the 2006 era was near perfect. I mean, like we were winning a few of the first few events, and then Carbon's win towards the end, and you and the Straight Rippin' squad were always in that mix as well.
Even when it was like the first year of Halo 3, even though we had a really good year and won half the tournaments and got second in the other ones, but there was, Triggers Down, there was Instinct, there was still Carbon, there was still Final Boss. To me, then there was up-and-coming teams like Ambush and Pistola and things like that. So to me, that's exactly right. It's about the competition and the amount of teams that I hope that they didn't play Game 5.
I hope so too.
God, I'd be so mad if that's the case, man. It looks like they are in menus now, so I'm gonna get confirmation that if we actually miss Game 5, which would be big time
devastating.
Bummer. That would be a big time bummer if that's the case. But we'll see.
We'll find out here in a second. We're just gonna hope that they haven't started it yet, because as of now, it's
what we can do is we can check Twitter. That's what we can do in the meantime, and I'm pretty sure Twitter will let us know if we miss it or
and our
not.
producers will check into it a little bit too. But yeah, I would love to see this Game 5. But yeah, there's so many good memories, so many good years of Halo, and I hope to see it continue. It's been doing so well.
Nobody's tweeted yet if they've won or lost, so I don't know what exactly happened in that game. But over here on our end, it wouldn't let us spectate the game. It said that they were in a game, and then we tried to turn off the box and then get into the game, and then it's saying that they're now out of the game. So
I'll take the blame on that one. I rolled the dice on this, and I was like, we should restart the box, and maybe I cost us a game.
It cost us the series. Great, Dave. We're both fired now. See you guys. Show's over. Bye. Rest in peace. So if we're going to get confirmation from that here pretty soon. I just got a message over here, so let's find out exactly. All right, so 50-40, Elite 4 took it.
Okay, so Elite 4, and your prediction was 50-43. So you won both the last two predictions.
Yeah, sorry guys that we ended up missing that one.
My bad.
Yeah, let's just blame it on Dave. But I mean that was a crazy Game 5.
Yes, absolutely nuts.
But that was how we were expecting it to go, in my opinion. So rarely do you see reverse sweep, but when it happens,
once they start to build that,
that momentum,
that third game,
I just specifically remember, I think it was when Neighbor went over to Final Boss, that reverse sweep that happened in Toronto, and we were down 2-0 in the series, but never did losing come into our mind, and we came back, and by the time Game 5 rolled around, it was just over. We just completely know, and from being there, and doing it yourself as well, it's such a momentum game. So much of this is mental, so much of it is about confidence.
Yeah, and so huge props to Elite 4 for coming back, being down 2-0 in the series, come back and win 3 games straight, and taking the very first PGL HCS open circuit event. So I think we have a small little montage of some of the clips from this last match from the games that we did see. So let's take a quick peek at that.
We got a little present for you guys. Are you guys over there? We got a little present for you. But Renegade, he was the MVP for these guys, honestly. Without his huge performance in that game number 4.
32 kills when his
32
team...
kills, killing Frenzy when his team needed him the most.
Yeah, and 3 teammates combined had 39. So it's just someone is doing work there. But
Yeah, Renegade's a good player. I remember when it was Rami, Domi, and myself. We were looking for a fourth, and we ended up going with Shazam. And Renegade was someone that I had pretty much highest up on my list, and I was really looking forward to possibly be able to put something together with him. It could have been a really deadly squad with Rami and Renegade and myself. But yeah, this guy he made his first appearance and making some really big statements at the esports arena tournament that happened in Santa Ana, where it was Frosty the Truth, Prototype, Commonly, and Straight Sick to I think 4 or 5 games, and it was a very, very intense tournament, and you could just tell that these guys were on the come up and they're ready to go. And interestingly enough, now Straight Sick teaming with Renegade.
yeah, um, so yeah, that was great matches. Great seeing all these new players coming up. I actually could not hear what was whispered there a second ago.
We're
but
looking
gonna
at
take
the
a look at
points.
We're gonna look at the points then, real quick. So let's take a quick look at the breakdown of the day and where all these teams are sitting for these potential legendary cups.
These points matter. They
Yes.
matter a lot. And, the top point getters are going to be putting themselves in way better positions, towards the end. Yeah, there are the LAN tournaments. Yeah, we are going to have one here in Vegas in November. Yeah, there is one going on in Santa Ana in October. But you can really do yourself, some good by showing up for these things, playing on Saturday, making your way, getting your seed, performing here on Sunday like these teams did today. And there's a lot of good teams out there. These team names, it's hard to necessarily peg which team is which and who's on which squad. But from today, we saw after us casting these top 4 teams, we know who's on those squads. I'm really curious to see what that Solstice, LU Gaming, Shock the World, all those guys. I'm gonna do some research, see whose squads, what players are on those squads.
Yeah, because there's going to be some familiar names and there's going to be some new up and comers, and we
didn't
need to highlight
see
both.
we didn't see Gabriel's team and Anarchy's team name. I'm sure they're in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
And then you also have as well Monster and Prototype and those guys that got 3rd place right behind the Elevate team that ended up making it to the relegation area. But let's take a look at the schedule so everyone's familiar with the dates and all the stuff that we're actually talking about. And as you can see, we do have 25 grand. Let's start at the bottom in November. 25 grand up for grabs just in the 4v4 alone. Also 5,000 up for grabs in that free-for-all. But we did see today that Placement Cup number 1. And moving on over to next week, it's going to get even more intense, Dave.
Yes, I can't wait to keep casting these matches and seeing how this season unfolds, because we're going to see a lot of recurring teams and players come up. We're going to see new players come up, and it's just going to be a blast. And it's going to be action pretty much every week for you guys. Tune in here on twitch.tv/PGL Pro.
Yeah, hopefully a lot more Game 5s for you guys to miss out on. No, I'm just kidding. We'll make sure that doesn't happen again. But it was definitely an awesome day, and we saw a lot of potential here. I think that one of the things that we can really take away is that these teams are playing at a really high level. We saw almost the same caliber of play that we would see in the Pro League matches, where these guys, understand the meta. They know exactly, where they want to go, what they want to do, when they want to do it. Obviously, the communication is there. The strategies are there for these guys, and they're only going to get better. But as we were saying, Dave, they have to put in even more work than these pro teams, because if they both put in equal work, they're not going to go in anywhere.
And that's one of the things is this open circuit's going to help them put that work in going through some of these open events. Because, I mean, we had over 100 teams show up to play for today/yesterday.
All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap here at the PGL HCS Open Qualifiers, week number 1. On behalf of everyone at PGL, thank you so much for watching. And don't go anywhere, because we're actually going to roll a little bit of a montage for you guys at the end.